You guys feel that? Too bad, Liz. Now you gotta stay up all night. This is your punishment for being born. Ah, yes. Oh, yes, my beloveds. Thank you for being here. Thank you for existing and giving me digital kisses. A lot of people think on my tweets I say live now. What I'm actually saying is live now. Meaning when you enter this stream, you're fucking living, baby. This is what life's all about. It's about listening to some random dude on the internet with a spooky voice, reading about psycho families. And you know what? Maybe yours is in here. Keep your ears open. How many stories tonight? We got 6. 6 psycho, sweet and savory family stories. I feel like I forgot something, but whatever. Do I ever have a good time playing Overwatch? Okay, I'll tell you what I feel when I play Overwatch. I either feel completely neutrally baseline, even at my because the way the game works is you're either oppressing somebody or they're oppressing you, right? Just like real life. And JK. But you're either dominating or you're getting dominated. Very seldom do the games ever feel evenly handed, you know what I mean? You probably don't notice that until you get to the higher ranks. And definitely not in quick play where I spend most of my days. But, yeah, I would say most of the time, no, I don't like Overwatch. And I usually have about a 3-game streak where I feel pretty content. And then I, usually that immediately bursts, and I am filled with complete disdain and hatred. Do I play Among Us? I did when it first came out for three rounds, but then I kind of feel like I experienced all I had to offer, and I kind of found it I didn't feel very engaged when I play it, you know what I mean? So I sometimes I would pretend to be the killer, but not outright say that I was the killer, but be like, oh no, it wasn't me in the vent, and then they would kill me early, and I would get to not have to play the game, so that was kind of cool. Oh shit. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, so holy shit. Holy shit. Well, first off, Raven, I gotta get to you first because you donated first, but thank you so much for the 5. Says, hey Joel and everyone, currently recuperating from surgery, and this is gonna make my overnight stay quick and fun. Oh, nice, Raven. I'm glad it's just an overnight stay for you. That means it's pretty routine, so I'm happy for you that it's not too wild. But thank you so much for donating, especially whenever you're freaking stuck in the hospital. Holy shit, Carrie. First off, holy shit. Thank you for the 100 Canadian dripping wet maple syrup doll hairs. Says, get this started off right. P.S. No talking about gaming. I know. It's the most boring, cringe shit I could talk about. It's like a nerd who is also addicted to smoking crack, but that crack is a game that's slowly killing me, giving me an aneurysm, and I don't know why I can't quit it. Why can't I quit you, Overwatch? Also, Overwatch 2 is delayed till 2022, so that makes it even more terrible. But Carrie, thank you for the massive dono. Oh my god, you seriously every freaking time just bury me, making it rain. But so basically, I figured out my donation issue, and it's so tough because it's like I want to hear the music and like dance with it, right? You know, I want to be able to hear it so I can dance. But if anybody's familiar with streaming, I've got a few options here, okay? For the alert box, I was fiddling with it and I figured out how to get the sound to come through the alert box so you guys can hear the dance. Did you guys, first off, did you hear the dance music? I really hope you did, because that would suck if you didn't. But, so there's 3 options. We got monitor off, which I think makes it so that I can't hear it. Monitor only, mute output, which I think you guys are the output, are hearing the output. So, that would make it so only I can hear it. And then monitor and output, which is what I have it set to. So it's like, it plays it and I can hear it on my desktop, but then you guys can also hear it. So I was thinking like, what I heard there was like 2 musics playing at once, and it was very like, yeah, it was very like, I don't know if you guys like heard double, you know. Oh my god, I love this fucking song and this mix. It's so sick. Makes me wanna fucking dance. Oh. Yeah, baby. Okay, as long as it didn't mess you guys up too much. You're so blown right now, Marco. Come back, Marco. Come back to Earth. Am I and your maker the same person? We actually are. We are Siamese heads on the same body. Right now he's beside me. I have a piece of tape over his mouth to keep him quiet. But we share a voice box, so. And whenever he wants to make his YouTube videos, I scoot over, I put tape on my mouth. Because we also share a very similar nervous system, and it's kind of like difficult, you know, when the other one says something or thinks something, you also think and want to say it too. But I get that a lot. Yeah, me and your maker are like identical twins. Which I don't know, is that a good thing? I mean, there's got to be someone here that doesn't think that, you know what I mean? Jose, what's up? Hello to everybody, by the way. Hello. Click that like button if you haven't already. Send this out to your grandma on Facebook. Everyone's grandma's got Facebook now. Hey, Galaxy. Pradeep is currently chilling at my feet. He's got his backpack, so he is set. I think in his life, all he asks for is a little bit of pets here and there, and about 90 different like rotational spots he can sleep on. It's funny to watch him dream sometimes, because he'll like start twitching like he's chasing after something or trying to swat at something, and it's cute. I like to imagine he's trying to kill me in his subconscious. Oh, Tiny Green Turtles. What's up, by the way? It says, you don't think that I like you both, but don't get the comparison. Personally, I don't really get the comparison either, but I get it so much now that, like, I almost feel as if though your maker set people up to go say that. Like, yo, go gaslight fucking Let's Read into thinking that we sound the same. You guys should go gaslight Corpse Husband into thinking that me and him sound the same. Yo, are you and Let's Read the same person? Are you and Let's Read the same person? You guys sound the same. And he'll say, excuse me, you piece of shit. D-Shorts, I don't believe you two sound anything alike. Not when you're reading anyway, but just talking, you do sound a little alike. I guess, yeah, like maybe I'm trying to think of his voice. Like, when I was little, I really liked to skateboard, and I don't actually know. I'd have to bring up an example. All horror narrators share a hive mind. This is true. It's called Reddit. Crew says, Jesus, Joel, why are you distracting me with this? I have homework to do that has to be passed in 3 hours. Well, that is not a position I want to put you guys in. Carrie, you like the music? I'm glad. This is a really great mix. I'm eventually going to put it on Spotify. Turn the music up. Is it? We need to jam a little harder. What do you guys think? But I'm definitely going to put this mix along with the other chill hop mix onto Spotify, on the podcast release, so you guys can jam out to that.
Hey, listen.
See, that one's weird. The hey listen one. I mean, it's not going to be the same once we switch to the reading screen. But here, basically what happens is I have my desktop audio so I can control the music. And then the alert box. And when they both play, it plays like a crackling sound. And that kind of is irking me a little bit, but we'll get over it. Letty Ramos with the 2 says, hey, thanks for reading. You're welcome, Letty. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the 2. Thank you, Tasha. Lila's here. Fry's here. We got the Mod Squad. Oh, there you go. That's your guys' name. We figured it out, Mod Squad. Joel Patrol and the Mod Squad. You never been this early, Emily. Well, welcome. Corpse sounds like he rose from the depths of hell. Is this the Christian Mingle chat room? It is. Welcome. We're about to start the sermon soon. Prepare yourself. Earlier I was thinking it'd be really funny if just, I don't know why, but like out of nowhere the government just suddenly got very religious. Now I know that certain governments in the world are that way, but in the context of the United States, where it's a little easier to joke about, just like, I don't know, you get on like, you're listening to the radio, and you know how there's always like sort of cultural zeitgeist that kind of, are permeating everything. I was just thinking it'd be funny, like, now we all, you hear like a commercial, like on a podcast, like, now we all know that the rapture's this year, but that doesn't mean that you can't get, or like, in light of the rapture, McDonald's is selling like cross chicken nuggets. Pretend the ketchup is the blood of Christ, shit like that, like just like ultra like a mixture of like capitalism and religion all in like one beautiful setting, but like pushed into the mainstream. I think that make for a pretty funny backdrop to a movie plot. The God of Pez with the 5 says, hey, listen, hi Joel Patrol, my fiance woke me up because she wouldn't let me miss 2 live Let's Read podcasts in a row. She's a good woman. She is a good woman. She's looking out for you. And I'm glad you guys are engaged, because that's definitely a keeper. If you weren't, I'd say get on your knees right now and propose. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I guess Chick-fil-A. It's like, that'd be really funny if Chick-fil-A started doing it. We're handing out crucifix nuggets or crucifix fries. That'd be kind of funny to take like 2 fries and put them in a cross to keep like a vampire away. Capitalism and religion equals satanic. I guess so, kind of, right? All the weird symbolism and shit. Yeah, but my day was good. Just went on a nice long walk in the morning. I'm trying to like, okay, I'm going to Florida. Anybody in Florida? I forget exactly where, but I'm going down to Florida here at the end of February, beginning of March. Get out of the fucking dreary north for a bit, get some fun in the sun. And I want to get that beach bod going, you know, really just tone things up a bit. You feel me? And you know, sorry, I was reading the chat here. Someone says, I was meaning to say Matthew Mercer plays a D&D on Twitch called Critical Role. He is the dungeon master and does so many voices. Yeah, man, that guy, I mean, he is, I knew that he did Critical Role with his crew, and I think that's really awesome. You know, that guy is, I've watched a lot of his reels. I think someone made like a fan reel for him of like all of his characters he's played. You know, he plays McCree from in Overwatch, which is where I think I initially kind of like really knew about him, even though I did kind of know about him before that. And man, that guy is just so many personalities in one as far as his voices go, and it's really impressive. It's pretty wild. And it seems like he has a really good time with his homies on D&D. Maybe I can join him. I'll be the Rat King. Do I ever get embarrassed if I mess up reading? Not really. I usually say bad words, but in reality, it's more that I'm just annoyed that I have to start over on like a certain part. But embarrassed, I think maybe a little bit, like whenever if I first start the video out and I'm like messing up like 4 times in a row, I think like, new people aren't getting a good feel of this. I don't even know. Where did the super chat option go, guys? Or am I glitched? Oh, it should be there. It seems like people are still using it. I mean, maybe it doesn't appear on mobile or something like that. I'm not sure. Oh, this song's fucking... Dude, it's like... The mix is so fucking good that I literally cannot switch over to the spooky mode yet, just because this like sounds so good. Oh yes, but anyways, I'll take that. That brings me back. I'm coming full circle. I got distracted, as always. But this Monday... Initially, it's going to come out on YouTube, but then it will come out Tuesday on the actual podcast. And so I've got a guy. He's a real baller G. He's also a big fan of the channel, and he reached out to me. He helped me make these mixes, right? This synthwave mix and then the chill hop mix, which they sound fantastic. But he also had offered to offer his services for remastering my audio, and I thought, you know, I don't know if I have time for that. But then I realized where I do have time is where I'm doing my podcast, where the podcast is essentially old material where you know, it's compiled, but basically he's taking those like podcast elements of like three videos and then, you know, compiling them together like the normal podcast, but then he's remastering all the audio to sound really good. He's doing custom music, and there's going to be sound effects. I know a lot of people have asked for like sound effects to go with certain stuff to set the mood, and he's fucking got that rolling in there. And he does it so efficiently, like 3 hours of audio, and just makes it sound absolutely gorgeous. And even for the advertisements that are going to be on the podcast, you know, the Spotify podcasts and the like, is made to sound pretty sick as well. It's actually going to include some of this music. So I'm pretty stoked for the future of the podcast. I think it's going to sound really good. And also people who've already like listened to some of the stories and might recognize them. I think you're going to get a different vibe now. You know what I mean? I think you're going to get a different taste of old stories, kind of remastered and beautiful. And it's going to be sick. Stream on Twitch. You know, I got about 353 people here right now listening to me on YouTube. This seems to be my bread and butter for the time being. And the bad thing about Twitch is, like, once you become partnered on there, they don't want you to stream on YouTube or anywhere else. So it's like, I don't want to get like held down there when I know that like most of my audience is rocking in the free world over here. You know what I mean? When is Joel dropping the sex tape? Oh, Robin's got to edit that together. He's got to do some After Effects. Really, you know, lengthen the script, so to speak. Just kidding. Jen with the $20 says, "Hi kids, night." Hello, goodbye, Jen. Hope you're sticking around for a wee bit. And thank you for the 20. Thank you. And Lils with the 5 says, "I love your live streams, Joel." I love you, Lils. It's always good to see you. All right, my friends, we are going to kick this off. Switching over to Spooky Town. Wait. Oh, there it is. I always forget that on my C drive, it's an HDD. So it's like, sometimes I click on shit and I can like literally hear my one hard drive switching over to the other hard drive to like open an application. It's so fucking slow. It's like I can hear it being like, "Wait, where is that? Where is that program? Oh, here it is, sir. Yes, here. The music application, like you asked for." Well, that's the thing, is I don't think there's really a whole lot changed as far as therapeutics for sleep on like the podcast, but you guys are gonna give me some good feedback. We're gonna get a vibe on, you know, how you feel towards it. But I really think a lot of people are gonna be happy. You know, not a lot of it. None of the sound effects are very disturbing, so to speak. They're more like atmospheric, along with the music, so which is all custom made by him. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good time. And Jensen's here. You should make a 3D Let's Read with massive girth. Just take a picture of me, dude, when I'm in the sumo wrestling changing lounge. Alright, guys. Like I said, we got 6 motherfucking psycho family stories. Anybody here got a psycho family? If you do, and you want to make it into the next video, maybe even this one, if it's good enough, who knows? If I even look at it. Most likely not, but the next one. Go to reddit.com/r. Wait a second, is the alert box like, or is the sound effects super loud, like whenever the "Hey Listen" comes on? I don't want to blow your guys' ears out. I'm gonna turn it down just a tad. But Jen with the 10 says, "They just need to put in a new credit card number for this stuff. Sorry, they won't send it whenever I swear, and I can't stop swearing. Sorry, kids. I'm too tired, and they made me put a new CC in, bastard." That's weird. YouTube made you do that? Yeah, I hear people have a lot of issues with their payment process sometimes with YouTube, where it's like they gotta switch to a new account, or I don't really get that. Huh. Yeah, Jensen, do you ever have your alert box noise like make cracking noises, like it's peaking or something, but it's not actually peaking? I don't really know. Mine was doing that even when I brought the volume down. Diamond Knight with the 4, thank you. Hand over some of that coffee. I could use it right now. You wish you could eat melatonin gummies like candy. They are fucking good. I don't know why they make them taste so damn good. I just imagine like a little kid gets a whole fucking box of that and they're just like in a coma. Alright, friends. Thanks for being here again. We'll kick this off. No more chitter chatter, though I am very chitter chattery tonight. I live in a place called Dark Hollow, about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. It's a really nice neighborhood, really leafy and green with some really nice old houses, and I won't deny that I've been immensely privileged to have grown up there. But at the same time, there was a huge downside to living there too, and that came in the form of the Ward family. The Wards were an absolute nightmare to live near to, and they made pretty much every other family's lives unbearable at some point for a variety of different reasons. Individually, they were bad enough, but collectively, they were like a horror movie level of nightmarish. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some budding horror filmmaker who writes or directs the next Hereditary, and it all comes out that it was inspired by the Wards. The patriarch of the family was named Winston, or Win for short, but being one of Win's neighbors was nothing short of a serious loss. Now, for reference, I had most of my encounters with Win when I was a teenager, and being a girl, Win always took a certain liking to me that he just didn't show to other people. He was always sickeningly polite with me, the kind of polite that verged on weirdly flirtatious. To other people, it probably just seemed like he was overly nice. Oops. Nice. To other people. Ooh, Winston. Peanut butter. Maddie D with the 10 says, are sound effects going to be added to just your podcast streams or your 10 stories as well? Thanks for streaming. To be honest with you, it's just going to be added to the podcast, and the reason being is because my work flow, so to speak, for my normal YouTube videos is so, as you guys can tell, so chaotic, so frequent that I just do not have time to send it over to somebody to be, remastered and all that kind of stuff. So my hope is that since I got 2 weeks in between each podcast and, a month between each podcast compilation that goes on YouTube, if you guys haven't picked up on that yet, like on YouTube when those big 3-hour videos drop, that's kind of representing what the podcast is. There's a lot more time to kind of send it over to my buddy down in South Africa, and which is cool. It's just really neat to think Robin's from fucking, Norway, this guy's from South Africa, just collaborating with people all over the world to bring you guys who are in all different parts of the world something that you enjoy. So I appreciate you experiencing that with me. Blue Rooster with the 5 says, what's up, Dank Daddy? I just rolled through PA. Oh, shoot. Were you just passing through? I should have threw a cocktail at my window. Angela with the 5 New Zealanders says, love you, let's read. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Kristen Woodward has become a member of the Buttersock cult and a full-grown pizza. Still trying to figure out why that notification doesn't work for the membership. It should be Chills' beautiful voice in every one, but I have to make the noise myself. Vestink with the 5 says, much love from England. Love listening to your videos every night. Thank you, Vestink. I hope I'm saying that right. Vestinky. The hey listen is kind of loud. I can turn that down a tatty. Hopefully it's not too tatted. Too tattied.
Hey, listen.
I think right there's a good spot. Alright. Number 15. To other people, it probably just seemed like he was overly nice, maybe a little socially awkward. But being alone with Win, or in situations where there weren't close observers, that was a different situation entirely. There were a handful of occasions where I caught Win looking at me in a way that made my skin crawl. He had a hunger in his eyes, like this beastly, ravenous look, like he wanted to eat me alive. His eyes would glaze over and his lips would curl up ever so slightly in this horrifically perverted way that always made me feel stupidly uncomfortable. There was one time when I bumped into him in a convenience store near to downtown Pittsburgh. After he said hi and made a little small talk, he seemed to follow me around the store for a little while. He acted all innocent, making out like he was just browsing stuff in the aisles, but at some point, he got way too close to me. I think I was just too nervous to actually do anything about it. I didn't want to make a scene or cause any unnecessary conflict. After all, what would I tell people? Whoops. Hannah, what's up? Any Black Guys children's stories? Not tonight. I'm sorry. That's been a long time since I've heard that name. Or topic. You be a flying bird. Fly, fly away. After all, what would I tell people? Mr. Ward stood near me in a store? Anyways, when he was standing close to me, I heard him sniffing the air. Like taking these big inhalations of breath through his nose, almost like he was trying to smell me. I couldn't walk away fast enough, and in the end, I left the store without even picking up what I went in there to buy. Like I said, he was overly nice to girls and women, but an absolute monster to any boys or men who happened to catch him in the wrong mood. He once ran out of the house with a baseball bat when my big brother used their driveway to turn around once, and the way he told it, if he hadn't driven away as fast as he could, Mr. Ward probably would have done some damage to his car. Then there was his wife, Maggie. Maggie always wore way too much makeup. I mean, so much it looked really jarring, and she plucked her eyebrows really, really thin. I'm pretty sure she was a good few years younger than Win, but the way she made herself up made it seem like she was 20 or 30 years older and was just trying to look younger. Maggie was famous for sitting out on their porch and knitting, which I think contributed to the whole old person vibe she gave off. Only she didn't really ever seem to be knitting anything. I remember walking our dog around the neighborhood and getting a look at the tangled mess of yarn she just seemed to be poking needles into. It was like a lime green spider web, just a tangle of thread she stared at like she was in some kind of trance. She also had this talent for turning super happy sounding innocent nursery rhymes into the creepiest sounding things, singing them all slow and deliberate in a sing-song voice that sounded like a combination of a creaking door and nails on a chalkboard. I remember one time when we got some of their mail delivered to our house by mistake, and my mom made me go over to drop it off. Mrs. Ward was sitting on their porch, poking these dirty-looking... Mrs. Ward? Mrs. Ward? Miss Molly? Mrs. Ward to Mrs. Molly here, with the 5 says, Joel, my love, I'm here. The power went out in my apartment complex for 2 hours, but I'm here now. Power's back. By the grace of Joel, I am here. You have been blessed. I reset my router and your power came back. I knew it would happen. Thank you, Molly. It's good to see you. Sorry about the power. That is always like a scary thing, because you're like, fuck, it's winter. It's a dark winter.
Hey, listen.
John F. Kennedy says we must listen to your stories not because it is easy, but because it is hard. But because I am hard. Says John F. Kennedy, sorry. Kristen Woodward with the 5 says, hello, Joel, I love you and I missed you. So glad I was able to catch you. Yeah, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, guys. Vegas horror stories. Believe it or not, people have submitted Vegas horror, Las Vegas stories, and those are currently being compiled, and I'll see what I can do there. Can you make a podcast of just you talking nonsense? Like, I like the stories, but I could listen to you talk about anything for hours. I could. I always thought about like taking the audio from the live streams and just putting them on podcasts. I think that would be kind of fun. But I don't know. Would you have to? I guess I would just have to start a whole ass new situation. Where's the temp? The temp's pretty low. It's pretty freezing tonight. Excuse me. Mr. Ward was sitting on their porch, poking these dirty... No, not Mr. Ward, Mrs. Ward. Mrs. Ward was sitting on their porch, poking these dirty-looking knitting... Comic-Con face reveal? I mean, if we ever have another Comic-Con, for God's sake. Mrs. Ward was sitting on their porch, poking these dirty-looking knitting needles into a tangle of yarn and singing. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. When she looked up to see me standing there with the mail in my hand, she acted all scared, which was nuts because I think I was way more freaked out to be over there. But she thanked me for bringing the mail over anyway. Yet before I turned to leave, she asked me if I knew what nursery rhyme she was singing. I nodded, and she asked if I knew what the origins were. I said no. And she went on to explain to me that the song had its roots in some old plague that had swept across England. I think she meant the Black Death, but I can't be certain. She said the ring around the rosy part was a reference to a rash that was a symptom of the disease, and a posy was a collection of herbs that was carried to mask the scent of rot that the dying people were said to have given off. Then she tells me that the all fall down part was a reference to people dying from the plague. I don't know how true any of that is, but Jesus, it freaked me out to have her tell me that in her weird scratchy voice with her face all painted up like some circus clown. Their younger son, Jacob Ward, was a total freak. He was obsessed with Native American culture, which I'm not saying is bad at all, but Jacob was totally toxic about it, and seemed like the total fallacy that all indigenous peoples were just evil savages that loved scalping and sacrificing people. It was rare that you'd see that kid, and he didn't have his face painted or have this grim homemade headdress on or whatever. He also liked to run around with a bow and arrow that his parents insisted was totally harmless, and use those cartoony sucker tip arrows, but there are a lot of people, myself included, that swear that they'd seen him using actual sharp tip arrows. One a handful. Okay, sorry. Wait. Toxic, and it seemed that the total fallacy that all the indigenous. Oh, I see. It seemed. And seemed. Okay, I read that one part weird, and it was like. Sounded strange, so I'm gonna read it again. And I ran out of breath. I was walking up the stairs as I read that. Pradeep tried to take me over just now. I feel him rubbing around my legs, and then he lays back down. He was obsessed with Native American culture, which I'm not saying is a bad thing at all, but Jacob was totally toxic about it, and seemed to like the total fallacy that all indigenous people were just evil savages that loved scalping and sacrificing people. It was rare that you'd see that kid, and he didn't have his face painted or have this grim homemade headdress on or whatever. He also liked to run around with a bow and arrow that his parents insisted was totally harmless, and used those cartoony sucker tip arrows. But there are a lot of people, myself included, that swear that they'd seen him using actual sharp tip arrows on a handful of occasions. He'd aim them at you, pull the drawstring back to the point that you'd actually run for cover, but he never seemed to fire any, and you could never catch him using them wherever there were any. And you could never catch him using them whenever there were any grown-ups around. They actually got a social worker called over at some point because a few people had seen Jacob walking around with dead squirrels or pigeons. I'm not sure if he'd shoot them himself with his bow and arrow, or they were just roadkill or something, but it was alarmingly enough to enough people that they actually had a visit from someone. Although whether or not that actually came to anything, I don't know. Then finally, their older son was this kid named Johnny. Johnny was the kind of kid that growled at people in high school when they got too close to him, and before he got expelled for fighting, did something seriously messed up. Apparently he asked this girl to go out on a date, some super pretty but super nerdy girl who happened to be his lab partner. She says no, and Johnny doesn't take it very well at all. He made things super difficult for her during chemistry, but not talking or looking at her. He made things super difficult for her during chemistry, but not talking or looking her, and eventually, I don't really get it. Johnny said, if you're wondering why I'm here, I clutched the gulag. Hell yeah, Mr. Kennedy, thank you. Welcome back. Time to find your killers. Time for revenge. What is this saying? He made things super difficult for her during chemistry, but not talking or maybe the... Oh, I see. By, maybe meant by not talking. He made things difficult for her during chemistry by not talking or looking at her, and eventually she had to basically beg the teacher to switch partners so she could even get a passing grade. Not long after, she was driving back from school in her seemingly empty car when she looks in the rearview mirror to see Johnny just sitting in her back seat, grinning at her. He'd apparently broken into her car and hidden in the footwell in her... Oops. He'd apparently broken into her car and hidden in the footwell in her back seat under some blankets or something, or at least that's what we all figured he'd done. She was so scared she crashed her car and had to spend a week in the hospital. All Johnny got was a visit from the cops and a warning to stay away from her, and somehow it was all just blamed on teenage hijinks. I think maybe because the girl's family were too scared of the wards to press charges or whatever. I'm sure there's more to that story, but that's all I know of that. When the for sale sign finally showed up from the ward's house, I think Dark Hollow was about ready to throw a big party to celebrate them leaving, and after they did, they became something of an urban legend, basically a campfire tale that only a handful of people really knew was actually true and not something we made up to scare people. Like, I still think it's a miracle that there was any bigger... There, I think, wasn't. Like, I still think it's a miracle that there wasn't any bigger drama to happen involving the wards. Something like a murder or whatever. Little Jacob shooting someone with an actual arrow. I know Johnny came across to basically... Wait, what? I know Johnny came across to basically killing his lab partner in that... Oh. Pradeep is Irish, yeah. Pradeep's from Ireland. I imported him. I know Johnny came across to basically... I don't understand what the fuck this sentence is saying. I know Johnny came across to basically killing his lab partner, and what is came across to basically? Maybe it's like almost. Someone's got a Pradeep. Pradeep is in the chat, holy shit. I know Johnny basically almost killed his lab partner in that car crash, but somehow they never actually went through with any serious hurt. God damn it. But somehow they never actually went through with seriously hurting anyone. But who knows? Maybe a couple of more years and there may have been a fatality. And who knows what they may have... And who knows what they may have been up to whenever they decided to move. Fuck, dude, why can I not read this sentence? Jesus Christ. But who knows, maybe the couple of... What they've... Oh, okay. But who knows? Maybe a couple of more years and there would have been a fatality. And who knows what they've been up to, wherever they moved to. Maybe it's only a matter of time before... Fuck, dude. Maybe it's only a matter of time before they seriously hurt someone. Joel has finally realized. I'm looking down and I see Pradeep on his phone right now. He is. I should make a mod. I think I actually would be too afraid to make Pradeep mod. It'd be complete anarchy. Bong time. I'm still sipping on this tea. It's a little warm. You slighted the Irish. Bad luck all around. No, I've done the Irish a favor, ridding them of this destructive force known as Pradeep. What story are you on? We just finished story 1. We're gonna get on to story 2 of 6. Pradeep beans. Oh my god. Wow. I literally looked down and he's on the backpack, but he just rolled over on his back and is looking like a anime character. I swear to God, he knows when I stream or something, or maybe he just realizes that, I'm not getting any attention. This is some bullshit. I gotta be cute. I gotta do a back roll. Do a barrel roll. Before I moved across the country for college, I lived with my mom in Fresno, California. I love her, and she always did her best for me and my sister with what little she had. But I think she'd be the first to admit that we live in a terrible neighborhood, with little opportunity to improve our situation. But I guess that's just how life is when you're a teenage pregnancy with a father who just disappeared into thin air. But growing up, I always thought my mom was kind of terrible. She rarely let us play outside, wouldn't ever let us go to the store on our own. She acted like an all-around control freak whose goal was to make our lives as boring and uneventful as possible. Later in life, we had a major heart-to-heart where she leveled with me about why she was so strict with us when we were growing up. After that, I understood why she was the way she was. The family next door were heavily involved in meth and gang activity. But they weren't just partying and dealing out of the family home. They were a group of seriously sadistic psychopaths who did things to the local community that could pretty fairly be described as pure evil. They got raided by the cops in the end, but not before they'd done some pretty irreparable damage to the neighborhood. And my mom opened up by telling me about one particular incident that had been the catalyst for her being so strict with us. Apparently, they used a little recruitment tactic on more than one citizen. Oh, whoopsies. Alright, let me let this cat out. He wants free. Wait. No, he doesn't. He has one of two moves when he's rubbing into my leg. He either runs for the door or he jumps on the bed and acts cute again. Joel, haven't had a poo. You haven't had a poo? Oh, puff bong in 15 years. You haven't had one? That's good. Take a break. Take a, what do they call it? A sobriety break? No, what the fuck do they call it? A tolerance break. 15 years should be good. Literally trash out of the trash can. Apparently, they used a little recruitment tactic on more than one occasion. One that involved inviting a young girl over to a party. Before forcing her to smoke meth. They'd keep her there for days, just feeding her meth and loaning her out to partygoers. That's the least obscene way I can phrase it, but you get the idea. Then they'd threaten to tell her parents or tell to call the cops on her, some kind of blackmail method to keep them coming back and bringing their friends and siblings, etc. From what I understand, it was kind of a vicious cycle of brainwashing girls, which in turn attracted more guys, which then allowed them to sell considerably more meth since lewd activity was involved. My mom also said that more than once she saw two guys carrying an unconscious. My mom also. Fuck. My mom also said that on more than one. God fucking damn it, why can I not read this? My mom also said that more than once she saw two guys carrying unconscious people out to a car, throwing them in the back seat, then driving them away. And that on a couple of occasions she saw missing posters for these people tacked up around the neighborhood. I asked her why she didn't go to the cops about the family, and she actually broke down crying. She said she was constantly terrified and had multiple encounters with the family members next door who told her that if the cops ever showed up, they'd make sure that she suffered. She told me that they once warned her that they were heavily armed, had all kinds of automatic weapons inside their place, and that if the cops ever came, they'd rather all die in a shootout than be taken alive. Apparently they laughed about how they had guns so powerful that they'd rip through the neighborhood, and that our family would probably die in the crossfire or something. That was something that absolutely terrified her. We were all she had in the world, and she wanted to protect us at all costs, so the idea of us losing our lives to some horrific drug-fueled shootout. Wait, what? Okay, cat. My dude. Okay. 1 second. We were all she had in the world, and she wanted to protect us at all costs, so the idea of losing our lives is... I feel like that sentence not finished, you know what I mean? We were all she had in the world, and she wanted to protect us at all costs, so the idea of us losing our lives to some horrific drug-fueled shootout, period, I feel like they forgot to finish the sentence. We were all she had in the world, and she wanted to protect us at all costs, so the idea of us losing our lives is some... We were all she had in the world, and she wanted to protect us at all costs, so the idea of us losing our lives to some horrific drug-fueled shootout, it was unimaginable. My mom was a quarter Mexican too, and she knew a few things about something called Santa Muerta. Wait, how do you say that? Santa Muerta. Let me look this up. Look this up right quick. Santa Muerte. Wait, Muerta or Muerte? I don't even know. Thanks, Lynn. Muerte. Santa Muerte. Okay. My mom was a quarter Mexican too, and she knew a few things about something called Santa Muerte, a kind of pagan figure that some Mexican people worship as like a personification of death. She said she could sometimes hear people in the backyard of the meth house invoking her name, possibly even making sacrifices since she heard chickens squawking and goats bleating. And according to her, a lot of people who worshipped Santa Muerte were connected with Mexican cartels and were not to be messed with. She didn't want to take the chance. It took her years before she was able to afford to move, and by that time I was a sophomore. But I can't even describe the relief I felt when I heard she was moving away from Fresno with my little sister. For the first time in years, I was actually excited about going home to visit. We were finally away from that psycho family of meth-addicted death worshippers. How do you goats bleeding? Not bleeding, like bleeding, like with a T. I think it's like the characteristic of a cry of a goat or sheep. B-L-E-A-T, bleating. Bleat. A sound similar to a cry. Bow. You feel me? Hey, Harley. Oh, Harley. Pradeep wants my attention. He's outside the door now. Never heard that word? Well, now you have. Do you have any tips for getting into storytelling? I would say get like a plan going, you know what I mean? Like, really look at this as sort of like what's my plan? Like, what kind of stories I'm going to read? You know, make sure you get permission for the stories you read by asking permission, that kind of thing, and do it for all of them, you know what I mean? Otherwise I'm fortunate in the fact that I have a pretty big audience to pull from, as well as people are pretty excited when they see, you know, Let's Read is sending them a message about, you know, using their story from Reddit or something like that. But so anyways, yeah, get a plan going, get permission, and by plan I mean like how many days do you want to upload a week, you know, once a week, 2, 3, every day, you know what I mean? Like, get your thumbnails figured out, you know, make sure you ask permission for the art, figure out how to use Photoshop, figure out how to use audio editing software, figure out how to use, you know, video editing software, all that kind of stuff. Figure out like what kind of like vibe you're going for, what's your name gonna be, all that kind of like businessy stuff or like brand kind of recognition stuff. Can I wish your girlfriend Gigi good luck on Uno? Yo, Gigi, good luck. Or is it Gay? Her name Gig. I read that wrong. Gig. Good luck, Gig. The outro should be, and remember, friends, Joel's making goat noises. Do I know how to delete pictures on Discord and mobile? Yeah, I think if you hold your finger on it, eventually it might pop up like delete. I could delete it for you too if it's... I could just do it right now. Branding is huge. Yeah, it's like, I kind of like... When I started my channel, I kind of regret naming myself Let's Read because it's like not necessarily... You know, it's because it's like a widespread like name, you know. When I first started out, there was another Let's Read, but I was doing it as like a play on words, you know what I mean? I never... How do you delete yourself? That one I can't quite do. Pradeep, I don't trust you. You've told me many a lie before, such as we weren't going to throw up in my shoe. Do 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 do. Well, wait, it wasn't letting me. I usually delete my selfies after a week or month of posting. I don't know if it was an update. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might not be able to find them in that. I might have to do that later, or you can ask one of the mods if they're on Discord to help you out. I'm gonna quit Discord here, but sorry about that. Can you tell us the story behind the astronaut logo? Yeah, so I was, you know, when I first started out, I was reading some wiki pages. Then I got into like classical readings and like science fiction. And then I stumbled across creepypasta and was kind of doing a mixture of the two. Joel, do a flip. I wish, man. I always thought it'd be sick. I could do a monkey flip. Oh. Oh my gosh. Carrie. Thank you for the 50 Canadian maple syrup dollars. Says, have to say, live streams with you is like Howard Stern. Podcasts and every other day help me. Oh, nice. Well, I appreciate that. My dad's a huge Howard Stern fan since he's always on the road. He loves listening. I used to watch like Howard Stern late at night. He never knew I was in the other room watching Howard Stern, talking to strippers and shit, man.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, I don't quite know. The alert box makes fucking like a crackling noise, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's certainly not as pleasant as what it used to be. So I don't quite know why that's doing that. But Carrie, thank you for the 50. Holy shizzers. Seriously insane. But yeah, Howard Stern's the man. I haven't watched him in a long time, but yeah, I do appreciate the compliment there. I'm sure I'll have to get some characters on, get a whole crew of people to chat with. Mochi with the Mochi, maybe Mochi with the 10. Thank you, Mochi. No message. If you have a message, just at me. Does Pradeep know Catwoman? What cat has? I specifically forbade him not to, but he still goes over there. He doesn't care. She just looks too good in leather, and he is a pussy hound. George Carlin is your god. Yeah, George Carlin is amazing. I miss George Carlin. He was honestly like a philosopher up there, you know what I mean? He was just doing comedy mixed with philosophy, and he just hit everything. It was great. What made me choose this genre of stories? Well, initially I was doing creepypasta for a long time. Yeah, and like I said, I was doing sci-fi and horror stuff, so I stumbled across some art related to skeletons and astronaut suits, and I was like, this is the perfect mixture of like sci-fi horror right here. I think this is me, because for the longest time I was trying to like imagine what my avatar would be, because I wanted to be cool like all the other narrators and stuff that were big. They all had some cool avatars and shit, and this was the one that really stuck with me. Philosopher with a wicked sense of humor, yeah. Joel, truth or dare? Oh my god. Probably dare. Or truth. I'll do both. Mary Johns with a 2 says, hello, Reed. I'm new to your channel. Love your content. Let me test this widget real quick.
Hey, listen.
That's so odd. Why does it make a crackling noise? Does anyone else hear that? I don't know if anybody else mentioned they hear it or not, but initially I thought it was because there was like the desktop audio and the alert box, but when it happens organically it makes a crackle. So, and I hope it's not like bothering your ears, because that's like the opposite of what I would want to happen. Pradeep, I know you're gonna throw up in my shoes. Don't even joke with me. Oh, you dare me to show my face. It's out there. It might be right in front of you and you don't even realize it. Am I actually Pradeep? Yes. Yes, give me catnip. Oh, it just sounds like, hey, listen to you. Okay. Well, that's good. Maybe I'm just getting some weird feedback on my end because of some weird shit, so that is reassuring, so thank you guys. Appreciate that. And Mochi with the $15 piling in here says, hi, you're welcome. Thank you for the stories. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for being here, and thank you for your generosity. Have your videos gotten demonetized? They did a lot more in the past, but I think as time has gone on, YouTube's algorithm, like basically for the longest time, whenever the whole adpocalypse was happening, what's the full name? I like to keep that not so out there. But yeah, so like back when the adpocalypse was initially happening, and then they kind of like, it was really strange. It was like people's videos were being demonetized without them even knowing they were. And then they introduced, I'm sure you're familiar with, like the green and the yellow dollar sign, which was like limited advertisements and like full advertisements, and was green, and then there was other ones like no advertisements allowed. It really sucked, because there was like a lot of people, especially, that was around the time that they had the like hashtag keep YouTube creepy or whatever, which I actually think did really help, honestly. Like it allowed horror content and true crime and stuff like that to maintain a position within YouTube that was universally looked at as like beneficial, I think, as long as it didn't go too far, because I knew that, like, I mean, it exists with, we all know that horror has existed within pop culture for, time immemorial, you know what I mean? But yeah, so there was a period of time that it was very uncertain with YouTube with monetization. But as time has gone on, and like you would be able to appeal things, and if they accepted it, I think like over time your channel starts to build almost like a credit system where it demonstrates itself to be like reliable and able to be reliable and like able to be monetized and that kind of thing. And I try to avoid all like the hard, like the stuff that's like too much, like mainly bad words, I guess you could say, or anything you can imagine that just goes too far, I suppose. Have you had any near-death encounters? I have not, no. I mean, one time I was like hanging off the edge of like a rock, like a cliff face that I was climbing, and I didn't think I was going to make it to the top because it was so wet. I thought I was going to fall like 30 feet and just fucking, I don't know, crack my head and die, but I was able to like fucking make it, baby. Is it midnight over there? Yeah, it's 12:45 a.m. I should probably keep moving and grooving. For the longest time, me and my family lived next door to these absolute insane people that made our lives a complete living hell for like an entire year. They were pretty well behaved for the first few months after they moved in, but after a while, they started absolutely blasting music in the middle of the night. I'm not just talking about that gentle kind of bass thump that passively is annoying. I'm talking the kind of loud where you couldn't get a wink of sleep. The police had to be called out a few times to get them to turn it down, and even then, they confessed that they couldn't really do anything other than issue fines. They got progressively worse though, and it turned out half the reason the music was so loud was to mask the sounds of the mom and dad having these legit fist fights in the middle of the night. It doesn't even Who inspired me to narrate stories? Well, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I guess it was more just like the general concept of reading stories seemed like the general concept of reading stories seemed like an achievable goal on YouTube for me as someone starting out on YouTube. And I never really thought of myself as like a good reader or a good narrator, a good reader. And, but, it was like as time went on, I think because you can go back to my like oldest video and my voice sounds substantially different, it was a different microphone, different style of reading. Mr. J is a big fan of me. Nice. Ryoko God, what's up, dude? With the two says, why is your voice so sexy? I don't know. I wish more people said that to me in real life. Was Pradeep stray or adopted, or why was he the one? I wanted a cat. We wanted a cat moving into this house and stuff, and our buddy's aunt was like, oh, I have the perfect one that I've been, from a litter at her farm, that she had been essentially like hand sort of like interacting with since it was born, and just like I don't know about bottle feeding or not, if the mother was there or not, but like basically would put Pradeep on his back and on her lap, and then Pradeep would just like fall asleep like that in her lap all the time, which then I think really made Pradeep feel very comfortable with me and everybody else here to just like get picked up and have his belly rubbed upside down, and just generally be very, very courteous of other of people and stuff like that. I mean, he enjoys people. Like, he'll, you hear somebody comes in, he's like, what the fuck's that? But then, like, always after a little while, he gets curious and comes out and investigates, like, oh, who are these sons of bitches invading my space? It blows your ears that no one has caught my voice in real life. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, if I stand back, this is like my talking voice, and I guess this is what you would probably hear. Like, maybe it sounds alright, I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna be necessarily, like, I wouldn't be like, up in their ear. Hey, how are you? It's nice to meet you. Mind if I read you a scary story? It wasn't even a case of it being a one-sided domestic abuse either. The dad sometimes had worse black eyes than the mom, and scratches all down his face where she'd obviously clawed him to... death. They were used to knock out... What? They were used knock 7 shades... What the fuck is this sentence? They were used to knock 7 shades out of each other. Maybe they used to knock the 7 shades out of each other, and we didn't even think they were too dangerous to anyone outside their own family. Okay. I'm a star. I'm a star. A superstar. Remember that movie? Superstar. And they used to knock the 7 shades... It's hard to say 7 shades. Knock the 7 shades out of each other. They used to knock the 7 shades out of each other, but we didn't think they were too dangerous to anyone outside their own family. Once or twice my dad had gotten into confrontations with them about the smell coming from their backyard, or the fact that they used to blast music. The dad of this insane family had threatened to kill my dad once or twice, but none of us thought that he would actually go through with it. And thank God they didn't then. For some reason, it went... What? Oh, and okay, they forgot a period. I see. And thank God... Wait, the dad... But none of us thought they would go through... Okay. The dad of this insane family had threatened to kill my dad once or twice, but none of us thought that he would actually go through with it, and thank God they didn't. Then, for some reason, it went really quiet over there for a few weeks, and it got to the point we thought that it actually moved. Only they hadn't moved at all. They were just keeping their heads down because they'd straight up killed their own daughter. Apparently, she tried to run away from home and ended up in a shelter somewhere. They tracked her down, dragged her into their car one night, taken her somewhere secluded, and then beat her to death. I'm not sure they even meant to kill her. They just beat her up so bad that she ended up dying not long after that. And that's why they'd gone so quiet. They didn't want to bring down any attention on themselves when they were dealing with a decomposing bot. Jesus Christ, this is fucking nuts. Can you call me Puddin'? Hey, Puddin'. Mr. J would not be a fan. Oh, Holly. Batman. That's why they'd been so quiet. They didn't want to bring down any attention on themselves when they were dealing with disposing of her body. We had police basically camped out on our street for like a week after they'd been arrested. All kinds of forensic vans with people in those full-body white fabric suits going in and out all hours of the day. They were obviously looking for traces of the girl, but whether or not they found anything, I'm not really sure. I do know that it was in the paper, though. And like I said, I thank God the guy never did anything to my dad, because he did actually go on to murder someone. Obviously, I do know it was in the paper, though, and like I said, I thank God the guy never did anything to my dad, because he did actually go on to murder someone. His own daughter, at that. Jesus. The God of Pez with the 5 says, hey, listen, Joel, my fiance is now all about these live chats. Please send an e-hug to Coco the monkey. Trust me, she's huggable. Oh, damn. I'm jelly. I could use a nice hug fest right now. You hear that, Coco the monkey? You're gonna get that life breath that exists inside your lungs. You're gonna get hugged so hard it's gonna leave. Just kidding. It's gonna be a very nice, kind side hug. It's gonna be a side hug like we're at church, not mixing, you know, we don't mix red and blue, no purple, guys. Be careful, alright? It's a very middle school environment. Joel, you twerk on stream before a face reveal. You're goddamn right. I twerk every stream, and honestly, it's kind of hurting my creative genius, I guess you could say, by not being able to show off my twerking skills due to the potentiality of compromising my face as a faceless YouTuber. I was going to get asked to be on that one video about faceless YouTubers, but I didn't even want to risk that. I didn't want people to be able to, like, reverse algorithmize the blurration on my face, and you know, you could end up figuring out who it is. What if I was what if I turned out to be Eddie Murphy? Would you guys be amazed that this is the career that he's chosen? With the red booty shorts. Damn right. How do you know that? Starting OnlyFans for twerking. It's out there. It's definitely out there. I don't have a face. I told you, it was a freak exfoliation accident. Completely wiped all of it off. Which now it's perfect. It's exactly how I want it. Just a skull. Joel is actually JFK. Alexander Bean was born in the Scottish country of East Lothian. Alright, let's see how we say this. Lothian. I knew it was a deep O. I am a biblically accurate angel, yes. If you guys even gazed upon me for even a second, you would tremble in paralyzed fear. I'm a floating throat. Lothian. British. American. Other. What's the one from Other? East Lothian. I guess Lothian? Oh, Carol Jane. Is it Lothian or is it Lothian or something? How do you... Is it just Lothian? Would you say number 1 or number 2? Miss Molly with the 5 says, I posted more of my mug in the selfie chat on Discord. I know you appreciate faces, Joel, seeing as you don't have one. I know. What I do is I take all of the faces that get put in there. I create sort of a generalized algorithm, and my hope is that one day I can 3D print something on mine that'll look hopefully human, even if it is just a insane mishmash of thousands of different beautiful mugs. I'm one of the mannequin people. Would I rather be abducted by aliens or chased by a serial killer? Probably abducted. I feel like if I was abducted by aliens, I wouldn't remember it. I'm a talking beard. Always itchy and... I got a freaking haircut today, along with a beard trim. And it's kind of insane, actually, like how different I look. And my barber even did up a new kind of look for me. He's like, why don't we try this out? So, I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And it was fucking baller. It's pretty fucking sweet. I don't know. It's just weird because whenever I let my beard really go for a while, I start to take on that sort of mountain man Forrest Gump's been running for 2,000 miles, across the United States sort of appearance. And then all of a sudden it's like you get rid of it and you go from looking like a homeless 45-year-old to looking like a pretty sexy 20-something. Babyface. No, I still have a beard. It's just a nicely cleanly trimmed situation. I look like a snack. Lothian. I'm just gonna say Lothian. I don't really know. Alexander Bean was born in the Scottish county of East Lothian, sometime during the 16th century. His father was employed as a laborer, with duties mostly consisting of ditch digging and hedge trimming. Alexander tried to follow his father's footsteps and take up the family trade, but realized rather quickly that the hard work and measly pay did not suit him. He is also said to have attempted to train as a tanner and become proficient in the process of treating the skins and hides of animals to produce leather. The mundanity and paltry wages caused him to become fed up with the profession, but it seems he learned skills that he carried with him into later life, skills that would not just provide a means of living, but a great deal of infamy too. Alexander was not like other people. He was rough, ill-tempered, and violent, and felt he simply did not belong around regular folk. So when he met a girl of similar inclinations named Agnes Douglas, nicknamed Black Agnes, due to her shock of black hair. What the fuck is a shock of... Can you have a shock of hair? Shock of jet black hair. Oh. Wait, is that a thing? Shock of hair? Uno momento. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Sorry, I was yawning. What is another word for shock of hair? Interesting. Never heard of that before. We learn something new every day. But sometimes we have to learn to forget. Chance we can get this Discord link? Oh, yes. There you go. Fry's got you with the hookup. You guys want me to post my only strands? I don't understand why the hell Corpse Husband didn't do it. You know what's really scary, actually, to think? That only strand that everyone went wet and wild for could have been a pube. I'm just saying that could have been a hair from his nutsack. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying there's a potentiality. In some timeline, in some universe somewhere, wherein Only Strands was trending on the social media site known as Twitter, our timeline may just so happen to be that one wherein Corpse Husbando took one of his pubic hairs and got the entire internet all in a fizzle. Would I have an issue with that? Not at all, because that's what I'm doing tomorrow, so prepare for that tweet. Only pubes. So when he met a girl of similar inclinations named Agnes Douglas, nicknamed Black Agnes, due to her shock of black hair, as well as her distinctly dark personality, he knew he'd found a soulmate. Alexander's mother and father strongly objected to their union, having heard rumors that Black Agnes practiced witchcraft. So they told their son that he would be forbidden from living in the family home with his new belle? Also, is it Agnes? I hope I'm saying this right. Agnes. Magnus. That sounds about the most Norwegian name ever. Agnes. Agnes. That can't be right. That can't be right. It's probably Agnes. Agnes sounds, more fancy. Joel, show us your haircut, please. Senpai, notice me. Ah, yeah. Oh, Senpai, why have you not noticed me today? Notice me today, Senpai. Fuck. So they told... Okay. So they told their son that he would be forbidden from living in the family home with his new belle should they choose to wed. The couple then chose to elope, leaving East Lothian. Man, Lothian, yeah. The couple then chose to elope, leaving East Lothian and traveling across the Scottish lowlands, moving from place to place and surviving on what little work each of them could find. But the couple quickly grew contemptuous of their employers, as well as the work they were doing, and one night they hatched a plan to earn some easy money. They lay in wait at a crossroads near to a tavern, ambushing, murdering, and robbing wary travelers as they trudged towards what they assumed to be a safe haven for the night. The couple's dark deeds then took an even darker turn, when at one point during a robbery and murder in Ayrshire, probably Ayrshire, I don't know, I'm just making shit up for these places. And no one would even know. No one would even know if I just made up places. Ayrshire, I was right. Was I right? I don't remember, actually. Pradeep, you're just getting back. Where you been? I made you mod and you're not even participating. There was all these people I had to ban. You made a cup of coffee. The couple's dark deeds then took an even darker turn, when at one point during a robbery and murder in Ayrshire, they decided on an easy way to cut their costs. Instead of using the money they stole from their victims to buy food, they would simply turn their victims into food by dragging their corpses before butchering and eating them. Alexander was used to dealing with the corpses of animals and found that human corpses were all too similar to the ones he'd worked with during his tanner... Sorry, some of these sentences I cannot fucking find a rhythm. Do I oil my beard? Yeah. I'm actually excited. I like it when I can oil it when it's fucking shorter, because it just gets it real nice and smooth. Alexander was used to dealing with the corpses of animals, and found that human corpses were all too similar to the ones he'd worked with during his tanner Fuck, dude. Alexander was used to dealing with the corpses of animals, and found that human corpses were all too similar to the ones he'd worked with during his tanner training. After one such incident, Agnes and Alexander dragged off the body of their victim to a coastal cave and... Motherfucker. Oh my god, that's 3 places I gotta pronounce. One's called Benane. I don't know if that's right. Benane. What the fuck? Really? They don't have the pronunciation for Benane. Wait. Sometimes. No. God fucking damn it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. Can't get it wrong. Yeah, Banane Head. How the fuck do you say this shit? Is it Banana? Anybody from Banan? Or do I oil my ass hair? Just the one side with the yin and the yang. Just the yang side. Fuck, man. It's annoying as hell. Alright. Let's see. Please have some audio. Oh, it's just a bunch of pictures. Somebody's got to talk about this bullshit. Banane Shore. Nope. Audioless. Cast in Blood, Banane Head Cave. Fuck, bro. Somebody's got to say it. Anybody know? Anybody from... It's banana? Tanzania. Is it Tanzania? Somebody's got to know. Somebody from the old UK. Pronouns. Come on, bro. Oh. Oh. Ooh. E. Ah. Ooh. E. Ooh. Help. Help. I'm twerking. Oh. Whew. I was... Sorry. Possessed by a twerking demon there. Ever so briefly caused by Carrie's $50 Canadian maple syrup dripper donation. This is Joel. This is a little dark. Just saying. Can we do a bong drink? Okay. We can do that. What's my favorite color? I like the color of my spacesuit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There you go, Carrie. Thank you. Okay, anybody here from Benet? No. Is it? How's it spelled? Son of a bitch. Why the fuck? This is so annoying. Is it green or blue? It's like a greenish blue. I like the seafoam green situation. Bro, it's gonna piss me off because it's like, I know someone from Benin. What about this song? Oh, it's like hard rock. I could not. Is it Benin? Benin? Brayheed? Wait, Carol's from that area. Brayheed? No way. Benin is... What? How do you spell it? I put it in chat. It was Bennane. You know, be honest with you, I'm just going to say Benin. Wait, Andrea, what did you... Benign. Oh, it's like benign? This is too much for me, and I'm wasting all of your guys' time. Your precious time. A man was arrested recently for screaming the word stonks in front of the GameStop. I saw that. I think he was on bath salts. Yeah, it's Scotland. Someone's gotta know. What's up, Amanda? Game stonks. Brienne? No way. No way. Benin head between Gervan and Belintre. Fuck, man. See, this is what annoys me. It's like I'm gonna go from I can't figure out this word to not Gervin. Okay. Time is fake. Dude, man, bro. Anybody got any info? Just pronounce it as banan. Pronounce like banana. It's from the Banana Coast. I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. How do I say this word? Gervin. Benin head between Gervin and Belintre. Alright. This one's gotta be Belintre. You know what? I gotta stop caring so much about this shit. It's like obsessive. Belintre. Will it be singing? I did sing earlier. Sang a little nursery rhyme for you. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get moving, huh? Shall we? Hold my hand. Here we go. After one such incident, Agnes and Alexander dragged off the body of their victim to a coastal cave in Benin Head, between Gervin and Ballantrae. It was there they made a fire on which they roasted the poor soul's limbs, feasting on the flesh once it was properly cooked. The cave was almost 200 meters deep, and the couple discovered that during high tides, the entrance was almost completely blocked off to outsiders. They had managed to find themselves the perfect home, a subterranean lair from which they could launch raids into the nearby countryside, and one they could retreat to after their grisly crimes to avoid being apprehended by the law. The couple lived in the cave completely undiscovered for more than 25 years. Agnes and Alexander raised a family there, producing 8 sons and 6 daughters, who in turn birthed 18 grandsons and 14 granddaughters, all of which were products of interfamily breeding. What began as a small family grew into something that more resembled an actual clan, and as time went on, the Bean family turned their bloody work into an industry of robbery, murder, and cannibalism. They began to strip all remaining scraps of meat and organs from the victims, picking the leftovers. This is fucking crazy. This reminds me of the, what were they called? Like the something brewed from Red Dead Redemption 2. You remember that family? It was like a cannibal family out in the woods. It's fucking creepy, dude. They were probably the creepiest part about the Red Dead game, even though there are a lot of really cool, like, side stories. They began to strip all remaining scraps of meat and organs from their victims, pickling the leftovers in barrels so they could more easily survive during the harsh Scottish winters. They also employed the rather shrewd strategy of tossing the skeletal remains of their quarry into the sea. The bones then would be washed up on beaches far from the coastal cave they called home, leading terrified villagers to believe that it was in fact animals that were attacking and eating travelers at completely different locations, effectively throwing them off the Bean family's scent altogether. Naturally, the frequent disappearances did not go unnoticed by the local vigilers. Dude, how the fuck can you imagine, like, you're just dating a girl and like, hey, you want to be a bunch of fucking, like, incest cannibals underneath a fucking water cave? Sure. Do I skip leg day? I don't know. I did squat today. It was a good day. Though lately I've been feeling like sort of, if you guys are familiar with the piriformis, well, maybe not necessarily the piriformis, but just my left hip into the sciatic nerve there. When I squat, sometimes it's a little painful, but basically the stretches that help me to kind of like free up back pain and get pretty much back to 100% almost instantly is hamstring stretch in all various forms, though I do have like a specific one that I do. And then, pigeon stretch, which is great. And then the most important stretch I've ever done and learned, which a chiropractic, doctor told me that was, in his opinion, the greatest stretch in the world, he called it. But it's the couch stretch, C-O-U-C-H. And you do it up against like a wall with like a pad on your knee, and you can use like some sort of stick or something to kind of like keep yourself up, and then you tighten your glute as you're doing that, and man, it really frees up tension in your back a lot, frees up your hip flexor. It's pretty fucking sweet. Twerking does help with, twerking is the leg day part. That's what's crazy. You have to twerk as you squat down. Onlyglutes.com. Naturally, the frequent disappearances did not go unnoticed by the local villagers, but the Bean family remained hidden in their cave during the day and only ever ventured out under the cover of darkness to claim their victims. Their methods were so furtive that the villagers were completely unaware that there was a group of murderous cannibals living right under their noses. As the years went by, more and more villagers seemingly vanished from the face of the earth, and the more that did, the more the local population seemed to take note. Eventually, several organized searches were undertaken in an attempt to find those responsible for the vanishings. During one such search, that's a hard one to say. One such search. Twerking helps scoliosis, science has confirmed. This one technique is making every doctor mad. It's called twerking. As time went on by, during one such search, such a weird phrase. During one such search, it is said that a group of men noticed the coastal cave that. Wait, what? During one such search, it is said that a group of men noticed the coastal cave that the Okay, I see. May you throw up in my shoe. You may, Pradeep. Just make it quick. During one such search, it is said that a group of men noticed the coastal cave that the Bean family called home, but were unable to believe that anything human could survive in it, and thus failed to properly explore it. But if they had, they would have discovered horrors beyond their imagining. Unable to locate the culprits, the local townsfolk became incredibly frustrated and volatile in their quest for justice. They actually ended up lynching several innocent people, brutally executing them in spite of their pleas for mercy, and totally ignoring their insistence that they were guiltless. They often suspected local innkeepers, since they almost always happened to be the last people to see the victims alive. Several were dragged from their homes in the middle of the night and hung from the branches of large trees nearby, yet still the disappearances continued. Then one night, as a married couple were returning from a local county fair on horseback, the Bean family spied their approach. They ambushed the couple, dragging the wife from her mount and savaged her as she lay in the road. They then tried to do the same to the husband, but found he was not so easy to be overpowered. Little did they know, he was a former militiaman who was skilled in combat and carried a sword and pistol wherever he... Dude, this story's fucking nutty. I actually really like it. It's fucking crazy, though. The inspiration of the hills have eyes, I know, right? Oh. Little did they know, he was a former militiaman who was skilled in combat and carried a sword and pistol whenever he was out riding. The husband was able to hold off his attackers, but as he did so, he was forced to listen to the blood-curdling screams of his wife as the Bean family tore her with knives and hatchets. Fuck. Damn it. Gee dang it. The husband was able to hold off his attackers, but as he did so, he was forced to listen to the blood-curdling screams of his wife as the Bean family tore into her with knives and hatchets, carving her up while she was still alive. Eventually, after the husband had dispatched a fair few of Bean family himself, a group of travelers who were also returning from the very same county fair appeared on the same trail, and were horrified to have stumbled on the grisly scene that lay before them. They ran to assist the former militiamen, chasing the Bean family away with their superior numbers before escorting the newly made widower to the local magistrate to tell them of what he had experienced. Upon hearing of the pure animal ferocity of the attack, and how the poor murdered wife of the former militiaman had been carved up and butchered while she was still alive, the magistrate seemed convinced that those responsible for the many disappearances over the years had finally been discovered. With local authorities sounding the call of arms, You want to send in a documentary type story about a case that happened a while ago, but it was quite dark? No, yeah, send it in. That's what people do, and this is dark as fuck, you know? So, and I've read a lot of dark ones. Everything, I guess, I read is pretty dark. But, yeah, fear not, my child. The local authorities sounding the call to arms, okay. Yeah, this is a historical story from Scotland, I guess. The Bean family, you can look it up, it's pretty fucking weird. With local authorities sounding the call to arms, it wasn't long before none other than the Scottish king, James VI, heard of the horrifying atrocities. He subsequently made the decision to personally lead a search team of over 600 men and several bloodhounds on a quest to find and eradicate the Bean family, once and for all. Using clothing from the bodies of the slain Bean family members, taken from the site of the recent county fair ambush, the bloodhounds were able to track a scent trail which led all the way back to the previously overlooked coastal cave at Benane Head. Using flaming torches to illuminate the cave's dark interior, the king's men found the Bean family surrounded by the spoils of their blood-soaked pillaging. Piles of stolen heirlooms, jewelry, clothing, and gold coins littered the ground around them, but what lined the walls of the cave made the king's men's blood turn to ice in their veins. Chunks of meat, human meat, hung to dry from ropes. Sorry, that sounded weird. Chunks of meat. Stacy Butler with the 10 says, I love your videos, Joel. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Appreciate that. Burn the savages. Burn the... Yeah, this is fucking nuts, dude. This is a fucking movie. That family built different. They just build different, is all. You can't take it seriously because their last name is Bean. The cannibal beans. Yeah, just like running around like a can of cannibal beans. Be careful the next time you open up your refried beans. They might just refry you. Chunks of meat, human meat, hung to dry from ropes that were strung above their heads. Barrel after barrel was stuffed with picked human organ meat. The smell was enough to turn a man's stomach, but it wasn't nearly as disturbing as the inbred features of the clan that cowered before them. The majority of the family, mostly women and girls, were captured alive and without a fight, and were dragged wailing from the cave by the furious king's men. But many of the men and boys ran into the depths of the cave and refused to come out, barking out that they'd kill any man that tried to take them. Instead of risking their lives to root them out, the king's men placed gunpowder at the cave's entrance, blowing the opening sky high and ensuring that any that remained inside would surely suffocate. Those that were captured were initially taken to Tolbooth Jail in Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Wait, Tolbooth Jail. Such a funny name. Dang it. There's no pronunciation for that. Was one of the family members called Kidney by chance? No? I do believe, yeah, I think they said that earlier. I wasn't really listening to myself, though. Yeah, Pradeep's on that catnip. Don't listen to him if he asks for $10. Those that were captured were initially taken to Tolbooth Jail in Edinburgh, before being transferred to Leith or Glasgow. Fuck. Leith. Is it Leith? Like Keith? Leith? What? Scottish Gaelic. Oh, it doesn't even exist. What the hell? Wait, do they speak Gaelic in Scottish? Or Scotland? I thought they spoke Gaelic in Ireland. Maybe they all share a common... Leah? What language is that? Irish? Oh, it's Irish. What in the fuck, mate? What? Ilya. Wait. What? Hold on a second. Hold on one stinking minute. Don't care. Okay. What the fuck? My middle name is Leith, as my dad and granddad, they both pronounced it Leith. The pronounce of the Leith demonstrated this video is incorrect. Leith is a corruption of the correct Scottish origin, Layeth. Okay. Layeth. Okay. Sweet. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube comments and all the thumbs ups that... Who murdered them? The beans. The beans did it. Glasgow. Glasgow. Hit on down the Glasgow. Those that were captured were initially taken to Tolbooth Jail in Edinburgh before being transferred to Layeth or Glasgow. There, their captors were extremely disturbed by the family's lack of humanity, both in their physical appearance as well as in their morality. Seeing them as no better than animals, the king's men subjected the Bean family to summary executions, believing they were too inhuman to even warrant a proper trial. Alexander Bean, the family patriarch, was subjected to a terrible retribution for the fuck. For the fuck. Insurrection. Alright, if you could travel outside of the US, where would you go? Probably Layeth or the Bean Cave. I would go right to the Bean Cave first thing. Pradeep, you need to get sober of catnip before I let you be mod. Alexander Bean, the family patriarch, was subjected to a terrible retribution for the crimes he had masterminded. The king's men cut off his private parts and burned them before his eyes, a visual metaphor that he would never again pass on his rotten seed. He then had his hands and feet severed and was made to bleed to death, a slow and painful end to a truly evil man. Yet as he died, he supposedly screamed out, "It isn't over. It will never be over," hinting that some of the family had actually survived the raid by the king's men. After this, Agnes and the rest of the women, along with a number of the Bean children, were tied to stakes and burned alive. They may have been some fuck. Son of a bitch. Where am I from? Pennsylvania. Joel, for your information, I haven't done catnip in 3 months, so yeah, I don't believe you. I saw it freaking... I saw that powder on your nose earlier. Do I have paranormal experiences? Not really. Not really. You used to love Mr. Bean. Yeah, Mr. Bean is from this exact bloodline. Yeah, just gonna quickly throw burning at the stake into the mix. Seems like it was pretty popular back then. We need to bring it back. We need to bring it back. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. I hope you know I'm joking. After this, Agnes and the rest of the women, along with a number of the Bean children, were tied... Okay. After this, Agnes and the rest of the women, along with a number of the Bean children, were tied to stakes and burned alive. There may have been some truth to Alexander's claims that some of his ilk had survived the raid, as in the nearby town of Girvan. There are those that speak of a woman who appeared among the populace not long after the raid of the Beans' coastal cave home. Apparently, after being interrogated by the locals regarding her origins, she admitted to being an escaped member of the Bean family, who were by that point infamous for their murder and debauchery. She was reportedly taken to a nearby tree and hung from a bow. Hung from a bow? What? Hung from a bow. The fuck? The fuck is this? Bow definition. A tree branch. Bow. Hung from a bow. Oh, I wonder if that's why it's called the bow of the ship. It's like a tree branch? Pradeep, you better not be dealing in my chat. Guys, don't listen to him. Do not let him get you hooked on that cat nippy. That cat nipple, as he likes to call it. The nipple. Or the nip. Or nips. Or nippopotamus. Do not get hooked on nippopotamus, guys. You will regret it. It will destroy your family. She was reportedly taken to a nearby tree and hung from a bough while a baying mob roared in approval. Over the years that followed, truth passed into rumor, which in turn passed into legend. And these days, there are many who dispute the Alexander Bean and his cannibalistic family even existed. The fact that Alexander earned the nickname Sonny Bean. Oh fuck, you know what I just realized? Sometimes my computer gets louder as time goes on, and I have to record some background noise now to get rid of it. So let me just do like 20 seconds of background noise before I read the rest of this. Over the years that followed, truth passed into rumor, which in turn passed into legend. And these days, there are many who dispute that Alexander Bean and his cannibalistic family even existed. The fact that Alexander earned the nickname Sonny Bean during the time that followed, a derogatory name given to Scots by their English neighbors, there is quite a flimsy argument that the whole story was concocted by Englishmen simply to give Scotland a bad name. But a remarkably similar account can be found in a book by Nathaniel Crouch. Looks like Nathaniel Crouch. Wait, Crouch? Yeah, Crouch. Have I ever eaten British food? I heard you put beans on toast. It's a little disturbing. Is it to commemorate this terrifying family? Sorry. Yeah, it's like the fan. Which fan is it? One of my fans, as time goes on, just really starts to rev up, and I realize if I don't remove that specific amount of background noise, it tends to, or like I don't have it as like a reference point for removing background noise later. I think you can kind of hear a hum sometimes in my narrations, and it kind of like, it makes me a little embarrassed as a big boy narrator to not know how to get rid of it. So, and I think if I get as time has gone on, if I get the background noise from right now where it's at its like most hummy, I can remove its plight from my beloved voice. Have you ever had to reread a whole video? One time I did. I think I even did it like after a stream too, maybe a year or two ago. I don't know when it was, but basically I go through this process. Like my microphone actually has a memory card inside of it, and the menu on top of it lights up when you touch like the buttons, and there's a little wheel you can scroll through the menus. And usually what you do when I first start up is click it, scroll down to files, click on the files that exist within the memory card, and delete all. And usually that's like those are old files that I don't have any use for anymore because I've already made a video for them. But for whatever reason, I just went through the motions and ended up deleting an entire night's worth of like recording just because I wasn't paying. I'm just like groggy-eyed, like, oh, time to, what I meant to do was click it and send it over to USB so it connected to my computer so I could edit. But in actuality, I just completely deleted all of my work, and that was like such a fucking, just such a, I was like, oh my God, dude, I am so stupid. Have ever met a Scottish ghost? If so, story? just a banshee. You can hear it outside my door right now. That might be pretty deep though. Cheesy beans on toast. I wouldn't mind trying that. Are you and Mortis Media friends? I remember years ago I worked with Mortis Media, so I would consider us acquaintances for sure. I just haven't talked or worked with him in many a moon. Use crisp noise canceling app. Is that an application on the phone or is that a desktop thing? If so, if it's a desktop thing, That would be cool. Perhaps you can send me. Let me look it up right now, since I'll just put it in one of my Crisp's noise canceling app. Crisp makes me not worrying about crying baby or our loud neighbors. Crisp was a game changer for me. Wonder if it costs money. I'll get Crisp for free. Crisp. That would be interesting if my audio got really good. Like even better than what it's been. Pradeep, what do you have to do to become a Mado? Oh my god. See, you're all hyped up on catnip right now. You can't even spell. That would set a really bad precedent for mods who aren't even sober. You're craving Chipotle? Nice. Did I say something about Chipotle? Crispy chips. Okay, here we go. Sarcastic Unicorn with the 14 Canadian maple syrup dollars said, good evening, everyone, and Joel. Looking forward to live tonight. Also loving the screen pick. Thank you, Sarcastic Unicorn. I feel bad. We're about 2 hours in. After this one, we're almost done with this fourth story, 4 of 6. Man, it really upsets me, though, that, like, if you get on Twitch, say you make an account on Twitch, you find a favorite streamer, and you want to be there when they're live. If you set notifications, and even if you don't, if you follow somebody, it will email you. It will notify your phone every time someone is live. YouTube doesn't do that. YouTube is very selective with who they notify of live streams, and it kind of sucks because sometimes they don't notify people till it's like literally over, and I'm like, what the fuck? Or they don't notify at all, and people miss it, you know? Though if you do miss a stream and you want to catch up on it, you can just go to the live streams playlist. After a live stream completes, it just has to process and be turned into a video, and then it gets put it as an unlisted video in the live streams playlist, so you can find all the old ones there. I suggest the birthday one. It's pretty funny. It's like 8 hours long, too. But a remarkably similar account can be found in a book by Nathaniel Crouch, a compiler and popular history writer who published his work in the year 1696. In it, he tells the tale of an incident which supposedly happened in 1459, the year before King James II's death. In it, he tells the tale of an incident which supposedly happened in 1459, the year before King James II's death. A passage from it reads as follows. A thief who lived privately in a den, with his wife and children, were all burned alive, having made it their practice for many years to kill young people and eat them. Only one girl of a year old was saved and brought up to Dundee, who at 12 years of age was found guilty of the same horrid crime. When people Oh. Ooh, ah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, Whew. Getting sweaty. Carrie Lang with the 50 poutine and Beaver Buck says, can I have one stream, just one, from you to me, P.S. don't Twitch. Like a private stream? That would be a tall glass to fill there. I feel like we'd leave everyone out. They'd be so jealous. It'd be funny. What if this is all like a big presentation? You know, like I'm up on stage or something, and there's just like one person in the audience. That actually would be hilarious, like to watch a stand-up set where like somebody rented out the entire place and the performer just to like watch them individually. That'd be such a like a funny, like awkward thing to like perform just to one person. But that would be cool. And thank you, Carrie. I will have to consider it. We'll have to take a vote. Vixa, you're making bread? What kind of bread are you making? You don't You don't gotta sit in the live chat. No, I use a stand-up desk, so I just stand the whole time. But I'm used to it. Some people say it would hurt, but as long as you have nice shoes, like I have a good pair of like walking shoes. They're like Brooks. You ever use Brooks? I got those for walking, but and just generally being a grandpa, but they're really nice, very bouncy. And honestly, I can't sit. Like I can't sit for too long, or my like from working out and shit, from squats, from all the bullshit that I do, tight hamstrings and all that kind of stuff. Like if I sit for too long, my back just starts to die just because of like how tight everything gets. Do solo streams for charity and fundraising. I am standing, yeah. It's nice though. I mean, I can just like, so much room for activities. So much room. I can do YMCA. YMCA. I mean, I guess I could do that while sitting too. Huh. Dang it. I guess it really isn't that unique, is it? These boots are made for standing, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna step in a pile of poo. Okay. Jackfruit ice cream. What's jackfruit ice cream? Never tried it. Okay. A passage from it reads as follows. Wait. The fuck? Where the fuck? Oh. When great multitudes witnessed her execution, wondering at her unnatural villainy, she turned toward them, and with a cruel countenance said, "What do you thus rail at me, as if I had done such a heinous act contrary to the nature of man? I tell you that if you did but know how pleasant the taste of man's flesh was, none of you all would forbear to eat it." And thus, with fucking poop. Man, there's so many big words. So many big words on planet Earth. Impenitent, non-penitent, unrepentant, non-penitent, non-repenting of a sin, non-contrite, obdurate. One who does not repent, a hard sinner, a hardened sinner. I'm a hardened sinner. And thus with an impenitent and stubborn mind, she suffered deserved death. I guess that's like the old English back then. I don't fucking know. I'll just read it though. And thus with an impenitent and stubborn mind, she deserved death. What's clear from this testimony is that even if some of the details have gotten confused or twisted over the course of the centuries that followed, there was indeed a family of cannibals up in Scotland, maybe even more than one. My fucking voice cracked. Maybe even more than one. A family that didn't just eat human flesh because they were forced to do so out of poverty, but because they actually enjoyed it. Wait, is that why you were craving Chipotle from hearing the story? Man flesh is back on the menu, boys. Have you ever thought about doing voice acting? Because, man, you are too good with your voice. Thank you, Renner. I have thought about it. But I know that, like, you need to get an agent and shit. And I don't have one. So if anybody out there is an agent and would like to ruin my life, I'm just kidding. I just always think of agents as being like those skeezy people who take advantage of you, and I'm sure they're not. I'm sure it's way more professional than it makes it out to be, but I just always hear bad things. But yeah, I don't know. I hear you need an agent to kind of like get you bookings and build like a profile. I mean, obviously I have a whole YouTube channel that can reference, but it's all just like spooky story readings and not like acting and, you know, theater and, you know, whatever else you need to do with that kind of stuff. you know, acting or something. It's like you gotta know how to act by being a voice to do voice acting. Like, come on, dude. That's a lot of cannibal stories, my guy. I know, we're loading them up. Oh shit. Let me let this cat back in. Ever had jackfruit as a big fruit, kind of like the fig? I don't think so. I don't think so. Is it good? You have the exact voice of a character from the anime Gungrave. Yeah, I've heard a lot of, which is kind of cool, right? Because have you ever noticed that certain anime voices sound very similar? So it almost makes me wonder maybe I could potentially be marketable in that sense if I sound very similar to other anime fellers. Especially was it an evil guy? Is it a bad guy? I want to be a bad guy, you know what I mean? So I have, like, you know, blankets piled up and stuff on the bed, and it's just so funny because every time I look at Pradeep, he like falls over and turns on his back to like indicate, hey, I would like to be petted, and but he's doing it like right on the edge of the bed, and he keeps having to like, he only has like an inch of space, and he keeps having to like avoid falling, which is pretty funny.
Silly boy, silly boy.
Alright, enough silly boy bullshit, okay, guys? I'm getting serious. 46-year-old Inet. Oh no. Oh no. These are Russian names, dude. I don't know how to say Russian names. When cats do that, they say they're flirting. Well, Pradeep is a flirt. A full-on flirt. Non-stop flirtage. Are you flirting? Are you flirting? He's a flirt. I'm a flirt. Do. I'm a flirt. Hawk, you're getting cereal? What the hell? It's too late for cereal. You're gonna get all jonesed up on sugar. Just kidding. Depends on what you're having. Hopefully Raisin Bran for your stools. Just kidding. iRock says, dude, your intro is sick. It's got like an 80s horror vibe. Hell yeah. There's quite a few intros now, which I really enjoy. Most of them are... Well, actually, we got the one with the nuclear explosion with the soldiers. That's from Axeman Cartoons. And then there's one where it's the guy floating through space as the world is getting blown up. That's from Umami, if you guys are familiar with Umami. And then the other ones, I think all the other ones are from Robin, which is pretty dope. Everyone can be Igor or Natasha. Lol. That's pretty funny. 46-year-old Inessa Tarverdieva. Oh, no. 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 I don't know how to say this shit. I don't know how to say this shit. I don't know how to fucking pronounce this shit. I don't know how to say, and none of it's accessible on fucking Forvo. Alright, let's see. Son of a biatch, dude. Wait a second. Mr. Creepy Master. Who's this? I've never seen his channel before. Mr. Creepy Master hasn't made a video in... oh, he made it 4 hours ago. Oh, well, he had something about a crime, like a true crime. Cannibals and serial killers. Case number 1. Oh, son of a... I almost feel like we gotta like listen to his whole thing to know how he pronounces it, just to go off of that. Dude, anybody Russian here? Anybody Russian? Hobbit, is that where the hey listen comes from? No, it's from Zelda. Whenever your little fairy pops up to tell you something, it says, hey, listen. Pradeep is so quiet now. Yeah, he's laying on his backpack. Your cat sleeps on your head, that's funny. I feel like my nose would get so filled with his hairs, it'd be bad news bears. At least Joel is honest. I know, I just... Let's see. Inessa, I'm thinking Inessa, 46-year-old Inessa Tarvet. Oh, come on, bro. Give me a fucking break. Why do you gotta name yourselves weird shit? The Gang of Amazon. Let's see. Oh, it's like robot voices. Alright, well... Oh, interesting. Oh, alright. I do apologize, guys. This is going to be actually really tough. Absurd. This person, Bella Fiore. She better not do makeup during this shit. Huh. That's so interesting. She's like just kind of giving like a rundown of like what happened with this case, but like there's like no editing other than like cutting to a few pictures, but it has like 2 million views. She's got 2 million subs. Wonder like how do you get away with that? Not like, you know, presenting it in a very dramatic sort of, you know, like a dramatic sort of fashion. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not trying to judge her content. I just like, what the fuck am I talking about? All right. Robin, what's up, bro? He says, yeah, that would be awesome. Wait, what would be awesome? I missed it. I feel like we're off timing. The answer is breasts. Let's read. Hi, I make music videos about relaxation and coding vibe. I have over 100 vids so far, but no views. Any suggestions to get better? Thanks. I guess just like... maybe like tags and titles. Like titles need to be more like specific or something. Maybe get your music out to like... You know how like some YouTube channels just kind of like compile like a bunch of shit from like other people? Maybe get it out that way. I don't fucking know, honestly. Like, music videos are about relaxation and coding vibe. I mean, you literally could just say that, like, relaxing music to fucking code with, you know, or something like that. Do I have any piercings or tattoos? Just the tattoo on my lower back. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. This is tough, guys. I've never been in such a position where like every fucking Russian name on this entire little written story is completely illegible to me, like, or completely unpronounceable. Like, I have no fucking clue how to start, where to go for the first person's name, and I see like 9 other names before it. Like, I can read Victoria, Rostov. Like, I don't know if it's Rostov or Rostov or, you know, and I'm gonna get like infinite shit in the comments if like I just completely butcher these Russians' names. Akse, like, I don't fucking know, dude. Where's Natalia when you need her? Maybe skip it. Maybe. probably a good idea. Maybe I can come back to it and just do it on my own because... You know what? I might... If... Is Natalia around? I wonder if... Yeah, I'll skip this one. I'll come back to it because one of the mods, she's not here right now. She's actually... She would know how to pronounce these names. Just look up the top 10 Russian names. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let me just skip this one. You guys will just get to hear it fresh then. And hopefully I'll have it figured out. Yo, Fry, can you message Natalia? Because maybe I can get her in a call or something. Am I straight? Yeah. Not sure why the writer doesn't put the pronunciation when they send it. I don't know. I'm sure, like, for the writer, people who, like, write it and stuff probably have no idea how to pronounce it either, or even, like, how to look it up. They just, like, are looking up the information or, like, crafting a narrative and, you know, not even thinking about it. Oh, Natalia's Romanian. Oh, okay. I feel like she would still know how to, like, say... I thought Natalia was, like, Ukrainian or some shit, or, like... Russia, like, you know... Russia, Ukraine kind of thing. Alright. Can you do a first and last name? What do you mean? You feel like this guy's a robot? I might be a robot, dude. I feel like every neighborhood has a family of absolute psychos. Almost everyone I've spoken to, this sort of... How old am I? I'm 30. Almost everyone I've spoken to about this sort of thing seems to remember one group of absolute wrong-uns, be it from their childhoods or from their current lives. And if there's one thing I've learned from their collective memories and stories, it's that whenever there's a family like that around, it's only a matter of time before something comes to a head, or something finally boils over. And that's exactly what happened with this insane family that lived in my neighborhood when I was a kid. Only the thing is, most of the people I've spoken to said the breaking point came when some kind of family argument or confrontation with neighbors spilled out into the streets outside. Police were called, arrests were made, usually a for sale sign or two went up in the aftermath. But I almost wish my story was that simple, or ended that relatively amicably. Because what happened in my case is something that haunts me to this day, with possibilities and ramifications that I find genuinely terrifying. I grew up in the 70s Britain, in a pretty small town in a place called Wiltshire. We were quite a small community, everyone knew everyone, and consequently, everyone knew everyone's business too. There was this one boy called Lewis, and he was the only child of the Prestige family. A very peculiar family name, if ever there was one, but that's not the reason I'll never forget it. The Prestige family were peculiar... Am I a boy or a girl? I forget, honestly. Joel, I'm left wondering after these stories, should we expect a Cannibal Stories video to come soon? Yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody's eating everybody nowadays. They're starting with the ass and working their way up. Not going to Scotland or Texas. You never know. The Prestige family were peculiar by name and peculiar by nature too. But then peculiar seems like entirely the wrong word to use. Peculiar makes you think of something quaint and adorably abnormal, but there was nothing adorable about the Prestige family. They were just weird, scarily weird too, and mean. I think one of the earliest memories of Lewis is during an assembly in primary school. It's about 8 in the morning and all the kids in school are sat in the main hall, and it's deathly quiet apart from our headmaster making announcements and the soft sobs of young Lewis. He didn't stop crying for the whole of the assembly, and it didn't just remain this quiet weeping either. His tears built in pitch and intensity until he was wailing so loud that a teacher had to remove him altogether. I remember feeling really sorry for him, but as time went on, it was just something you sort of got used to. They were the weird family in town, and since they didn't get into any serious confrontations outside of their own family unit, people just sort of let them be. The next serious incident I remember was years later in secondary school, when the schoolyard suddenly became abuzz with people gossiping over something. People were crowding around the school gates, looking at something, some of them laughing, some of them just gawping at the sight of a lad dressed entirely in a school uniform except for one crucial piece of it, his trousers. And it turned out to be Lewis. From what I heard, he had been basically pushed out of a car by who we assumed to be his dad, and rumors went flying around that Lewis hadn't quite been ready to leave the house when his dad was ready to take him to school that morning. Instead of waiting for him to put his school trousers on, Lewis's dad had just dragged him to the car and taken him to the school with no pants on, basically to teach him a lesson to be ready on time. I'm not entirely sure how true that reasoning was, but I do know that I witnessed Lewis having to walk into school in nothing but his school jumper, his shoes, and his underwear with my own eyes. I'm also not entirely sure how Lewis was still allowed to live with his evidently abusive parents either. Again, rumors went around that they'd had a visit from social workers, but this I believe because, for a while, there seemed to be little in the way of serious incidents coming from the Prestige household. Obviously, the visit from Child Welfare Service... Am I your father? When will I return the milk and cigarettes? Soon, sweetheart. I just have to go down aisle 6 here. Valdcast is a Russian YouTuber. Can you get a hold of him? Don't mix up Russian and Ukrainian. The Ukrainians get mad. I bet they do. I remember there was the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's like, "What are you, you Swedish? You Swedish?" And he's like, "Norwegian." Such a funny episode. And he's like, "Is that what's the difference there?" And he's like, culture, language, food, demeanor." Like, it was just like really funny. Like, the Norwegians fucking hate the Swedes. It's just really funny. Joel Rostov. Russian accents are the best. Russia. Mother Russia. 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 Heather Backhouse with the 10 says, "What's up? What's up?" You guys remember that from the year 2000?
Hey, listen.
What's up? Back when Super Bowl commercials were good. Robin, that's hilarious. This is so fun. It was so funny, yeah, because it made me think of you. I was like, this is too good. Okay, so where the hell? Obviously, the visit from Child Welfare Services has been enough to shake them up into changing their ways, or so it seemed. Now, this all came to a head when I was 15, maybe just over a year before we left secondary school and bid farewell to compulsory education for good. One morning, Lewis turns up to school in his own clothes, a pair of pumps and a colorful jumper, and a colorful dumple. What the hell? Why do I do that? One morning, Lewis turns up to school in his own clothes, a pair of pumps and a colorful jumper. He gets pulled aside by a teacher who, I think at that point, was well aware of the situation at home, and Lewis says something quietly to him before the pair of them disappear into the building which housed the main office. The next thing I know is that, apart from the shoes he was wearing, Lewis has an entirely new school uniform. New blazer, new tie, new jumper, everything. And from that day on, he seemed like almost an entirely new person. He didn't get dropped off at school by his parents anymore. He seemed more confident and open, more talkative with the other kids. He even started playing football with us at lunchtimes, something he'd never done before. We actually got quite pally with him for a while, and on more than one occasion he invited us back home with him to play. We politely declined, of course, thinking of some made-up excuse not to have to go around the Prestige house, but still, things seemed to be making a vast improvement. Emphasis on seemed, though, because after a long bank holiday season... Long bank holiday? Poor Lewis, I know, that does suck. What's up? Did I just crack my knuckles? I may have. And my mic will pick it up from time to time. Some people seem to enjoy it. Emphasis on seemed, though, because after a long bank holiday weekend, Lewis failed to turn up to school at all. This didn't have anyone talking about it too much. Kids were routinely off on the odd 1 or 2 days with illness, but Lewis went an entire week without showing up for school, and that really did get us talking. I don't know if it was because I was so young and naive, or I just didn't connect the dots, but I didn't think that there was any link between all the police activity around our town and Lewis not being in school. But one Saturday afternoon, my mom and dad called me into the kitchen and asked me if I'd be around to Lewis's house. If I'd been to Lewis's house. Fuck. How does a shrimp sit? Oh, shrimps are very proper in their seating arrangement. Sitting like a shrimp. Just like wrapped up. Can I crack my knuckles again? Maybe in a little bit. Right now they're all crickled and crackled. Cracked clean. One Saturday afternoon, my mom and dad called me into the kitchen and asked me if I had been around to Lewis's house at all recently. I told them no, but that I'd been invited at one point, and when I said that, my mom gave my dad this look that seemed to be a weird mix of horror and relief, like I'd dodged a bullet or something. Not long after that... Fuck. Well, this is the first time my voice is cracking tonight much, so that's kind of good. You literally struggle watching. I'm so used to just listening. You can listen. I don't really think there's much to watch other than the animation on screen, though it is rather beautiful. You can crack your wrists repeatedly. See, I would avoid that. The repetitive motion of that process. I'm not saying it leads to arthritis or anything, but if it never really seems to give you any relief, I don't think you should do that. Weird mix of horror and relief like a dodge bullet. No, after that I got word through some friends of them. Is Joel having notification issues again tonight? I mean, every night. I just don't think YouTube notifies. I just don't think YouTube notifies everyone. Like, the best way to get notifications is to join the Discord or follow me on Twitter and, like, turn those notifications on. I don't know if they work on Twitter well. Even if you turn them all on to the maximum setting on YouTube, people still report that it's very inconsistent with when they get notified. So that system is bugged, or like, forcibly dog shit. I don't really know. At this point, I have to assume it's a choice by YouTube's process to not notify everyone. And I think the reason being is that they're afraid that if you notify people too many times, they eventually will turn notifications off or something, which to me is like illogical. But whatever their data shows, I don't fucking know. Notify via SMS. Yeah, I'll text all of you individually through the emergency broadcast system. Attention. Attention. Let's Read is fucking reading scary stories. Please report to your computer and or mobile device. Please make sure you say something funny in chat so he has a laugh. Bathwater with the 5. With the 5 Canadian maple syrup dollars. Says, how about your super chat? Hey, listen. Wait. Is it coming? Did I miss it? Did I read it too early? Oh, there it is. Hey, listen. Van, you get notified always. Yeah, some people say they get notified every time. Other people... Wait, super chat notifications are off, Joel? What? What? They've been working all night. They were literally working all night. They were working at the car wash all night. There's no way that it just goes... Super chat notifications are off. Even though it popped up on screen and it made the noise, like you guys had to have heard it. Oh, they're just late. Yeah. Jesus Christ. All capitals. They are off. No, my notification and my reaction to it are usually mismatched, so. Sorry. I don't know. I get scared when people type in all caps. It just makes it seem very serious. Kitty cat, what are you doing, boy? Yeah, no, the chat and the latency between the delay, there is a massive delay between me reading, seeing what's in chat and when you guys hear it, so. And sometimes, yeah, that's just how it is. I don't know what to say. I've had some people like respond to shit that was like said like half an hour ago, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on with them? I don't even understand. Alright, but one Saturday, okay. Not long after that, I got word through some friends of mine that there had been a brutal double murder in the town, that someone had been arrested for it too. Our little town barely had any crime at all. I think the most serious thing to happen for decades at that point was a car theft committed by some out-of-towner. So the idea that there had been a single murder, let alone two, just set the town alight, and there was much speculation over who the killer was and how the killings had come about. Looking back now, I can see why the adults might want to shield us from the whole thing, and it was only a few years later that I actually realized why the police had made such an effort to keep the identity of the murderer a secret. It's like that when a murderer, It's like that when a murderer is under the age of 18. When they're a minor, their identity is kept secret for as long as is able. And that's only really possible with the media because it didn't take long before the residents of our town figured out what had happened, and it was bound to trickle down to us sooner or later. The reason Lewis's parents didn't seem to be around anymore, the reason he was so happy and confident and carefree, was because he had killed them. He'd finally rid himself of the people that made his life torture. I get that. But the fact that a kid killing their own parents could make them so happy, that's something I've never been able to truly understand. The horrible thing was looking back on the events later and sort of piecing together the puzzle. For example, the day he came to school on his own... Oops, Jesus. I murdered that coochie and my name is Van. Let the people know. Joel's voice is the best. I wish I could wear his skin. Jesus fuck. I love Joel's voice. I wish I could kill him and turn him in. I wish I could join that the Bean family. For example, the day he came to school in his own clothes was probably the morning he'd killed them. And since he'd gotten blood on his school uniform, he had to dispose of it. All the times he'd invited us back to his place to watch TV or play football, his parents would have been dead in the upstairs bedroom, assuming that's where he'd killed them. If we'd gone round, maybe we would have been able to smell them, or see flies buzzing around the bedroom door or something. We were all just one little spur of the moment yes from finding their bodies. Maybe if that was the case, then Lewis would have killed us, too. Yeesh. Well, fuck. I don't know what to do, man. I really would like to get this story done and recorded. But I just, like, as I'm scrolling through it, it's like one Russian name after one Russian name, like, and I cannot fucking read it. Stavropol. Did we get Natalia? Is Natalia around? Where the hell she be? Oh, my phone's restarting. Maybe she would want to sit in the call here. I don't know if you guys would get to hear it or not. Let's see. She's one of the mods, or she's actually an admin. I think an admin or mod or something. You around. You guys will get to see a real behind-the-scenes process. For Mother Russia, this is Johnny Sins. She's offline on Discord. Joel, just read the first names, and if you can't change them. Well, this is like a documentary style one, so like changing it would not make sense. You're so much different than I thought. Yeah, I suppose coming off as spooky man all the time. Have me read the entire script of Joe Dirt. It puts the lotion on the skin. Alright. Say it, don't spray it. I put the lotion on my skin. Ivan Melendez with a 1. Anybody here? Joel's getting trolled by the Russians. The Russian bots. This is all a made-up story. Well, son of a bitch, guys. I apologize. I probably will have to read this story tomorrow. Don't be a wimp and read it. I can't. I literally can't. Because it's not about wimpmanship. It's like completely butchering these names. Yeah, Joe Dirt's a great movie. I didn't see Joe Dirt 2, though. But I do remember the one guy. The one guy at the gas station was like, we were talking about Joe Dirt or something. I don't know why I was talking about Joe Dirt. He's like, yeah, Joe Dirt 2 coming out. Man, it's going to be on Crackle. It's going to be on Crackle. And like Crackle is like this like, you know, up and coming streaming service whenever, like before, remember like all the, like NBC and all those other places, Disney like made all those different streaming services. Well, this was like one of those alternative streaming services besides Hulu that was trying to pop up. And one of their big exclusives was Joe Dirt 2, baby. And it's like, I don't think that's going to drive a lot of audience over there, but he's like, man, that shit's on Crackle. You got to get on Crackle and watch Joe Dirt 2. It's like, you know, your family, what does the one guy say? He's like, your home where you make it. He's like, all right. You like to see homos naked. That's fine, man. That's fine. It's just, and then that like part where he thinks he has like some moon rock and it's just like solidified shit or something. And it's just such a fucking funny movie, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't see White Chicks 2. White Chicks 1 was really funny though. That was hilarious. Do I do anything else for a living besides YouTube? Just the podcast. I guess if it's pretty much the same thing. Buffalo Bob. Yeah. You'll never take me alive, coppers. Amazon Prime movies suck. Damn. Yeah, I've been on Amazon Prime a few times since I have it for deliveries and shit. Ivan Melendez with the 2 says, I truly am thankful you exist, man. Thank you, Ivan. Your name is Ivan. Do you potentially know any Russian? But thank you. Van, you're amazing. Thank you. Damn, it's 2 a.m. Yeah, I guess it would make sense. If she has a normal job, she's probably fucking sleeping or some shit. Well, guys.
Hey, listen.
Tell us, do you have anything? Oh, wait. Oh! Oh my god. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Holy shit, Carrie, thank you. Again. Literally fucking pouring it on me. Holy shit. With another 50 Canadian dripping, sticky, delicious, sweet, not sour, Canadian doll hairs. It says, can you give us one last one? Oldie but a goodie. One last story would be much appreciated. Well, I think we got Natalia on the horn. Oh, fuck. I'm reading a story, and there's all these Russian names. And I can't say them. She says lol. I think I may have woken her up. What on earth is Amazon? Andre, you never been to the Amazon? Okay. I think we can make this happen, but I also don't want to... would you be willing to jump in a call to help? I don't know if you guys would be able to hear because I think I have the desktop audio turned off. But that would be hilarious if I have like somebody on. Guys, we're making it happen. We're pulling some strings. We're getting this shit. We're doing it for you. Carrie's inspired me here. One more story. Okay, do I still... Oh, there she is. Okay, here we go, baby. I don't think you're going to get to hear her voice because it doesn't pick up desktop audio, but she'll be my consultant and they'll make me sound smart. Hello. How is it going? I'm sorry. Can I like send you or can I link you to the Reddit thing, and then hopefully I don't read you to sleep. And all of these names are so beyond my brain, I don't even know how to handle it.
Hey, listen.
Are some of them like pretty out there? Oh, Van. So just so you know, I'm on stream right now, but they can't. No, they can't hear your voice. They can't hear your voice. So, so you can fart or whatever. Yeah, I'd hate to put you on the spot. Tarverdieva. Okay. Roman Podkopayev. Okay. Sounds pretty Russian. I'm just gonna... Well, shit, I guess there's like a ton of names. Okay, so it's Inessa what is it? Sorry. Tarverdieva and Roman Podkopayev. Okay. I'm just gonna like read through this first sentence to like literally there's so many names that I feel like I have to like step by step it and I feel terrible. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, sorry if I start reading. Okay. What is it? Inessa Tarverdieva, Tarverdieva and Roman Podkopayev. Okay. 46-year-old Inessa Tarverdieva and her 35-year-old husband Roman Podkopayev led very comfortable lives. Roman earned a generous wage as a dentist in the southern Russian region of... Oh, shit. What's this? Yeah. Stavropol? Okay. Well, Inessa... Okay. I'll just keep going till I fuck up, and if you're cool as being standby. Roman earned a generous wage as a dentist in the southern Russian region of... I spaced on it. Stavropol. Okay. Roman earned a generous wage as a dentist in the southern Russian region of Stavropol, while Inessa held down a full-time job as a nursery school teacher. Their combined income was considerably higher than most Russian households, and they made sure their 13-year-old daughter, Victoria, wanted for nothing. On the surface, they seemed as normal and well-adjusted as any other family, and often went on camping trips to the nearby area of Rostov. Is it Rostov? Chestnuts roastoving on an... Okay. Rostov. Okay. On the surface, they seemed as normal and well-adjusted as any other family, and often went on camping trips to the nearby area of Rostov. Yet while on these seemingly wholesome family outings, something dark and primal was driving the trio. Driving the trio? Shit, sorry. Along with the two other elements to commit some of the... Oh, the violence. Sorry, okay. Yet while on these seemingly wholesome family outings, something dark and primal was driving the trio, along with two of their in-laws, to commit some of the vilest acts a human being is capable of. On February 17th, 2008, what's this, Aksai? Aksai, okay. Aksai, okay. And then Rostov region, Inessa, Roman, Victoria. Is that Mikhail? Zlidnev. That's funny. Oh yeah, that's awesome. On February 17th, 2008, Aksai? What was it? Aksai, okay. Oh, Aksai, okay. On February 17th, 2008, in Oksai, a small town in the greater Rostov region, Anessa, Roman, and Victoria pulled up outside the home of Mikhail Zlidnev. Zlidnev. Sorry, the cat wants out real quick. Sorry. He's crazy. He's nuts. Okay, Zlidnev, head of the Information Security Department of the State Drug Control Service. Okay, Oksai. Jesus Christ, Oksai or Oksai. Okay, sorry. On February 17th, 2008, in Oksai, a small town in the greater Rostov region, Anessa, Roman, and Victoria pulled up outside the home of Mikhail Zlidnev, head of the Information Security Department of the State Drug Control Service. With all the efficiency of a military raiding party, the family smashed their way into the house, quickly incapacitating Mikhail and his wife with shots from firearms they had concealed in their vehicle. Once they were downed and incapable of defending themselves, the family took their time butchering the couple with knives they carried, making sure that Mikhail was forced to watch as they carved up his beloved wife before finally finishing him off. The family then went about collecting trophies from the house, items that would serve as mementos of their first hunt together, including items of clothing and a television remote. The trio believed that such a horrendous act of violence... The trio believed... They want to hear you? Do you want them to hear you? Oh, okay. No, they don't. No, that's all right. Well, I don't want to dox you. They'll triangulate your voice probably, you know. They've got, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Nice. I haven't played that in a while. The trio believed that such a horrendous act of violence might sate their desire to hunt and kill, and that afterward they could return to being pillars of their small Russian community. But the raid only fueled a bloodlust that would lead them to claim many more victims. It only took a few months before the family was baying for blood again, so once again they got on the road to Rostov for another one of their supposed camping trips. It was July 17th of 2008 when... Oh shit, what's this one? Alexei Sazonov. Okay, and Vasilyeva. Okay, Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva. Okay. Sorry, man. It like leaves my mind as soon as I hear it. And It was July 17th of 2008 when Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva. Okay. Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva. Vasilyeva. Okay, Vasilyeva. Okay. I don't know why it's seeing like, I don't know. Oh yeah. 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 Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva. Okay. Cool. It was July 17th of 2008 when Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva... I don't know, that sounded weird. Oh, that was good? Okay, fuck. Shit. Sorry, okay. Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva. Vasilyeva, okay. Okay. It was July 17th of 2008 when Alexei Sazonov and Julia Vasilyeva were traveling on a federal highway through Oksai district. We're traveling on a federal highway through Oksai district It was a routine drive for them, right up until bullets began smashing through the windscreen of their vehicle. Alexei was... Is it Alexei or Alexei? Alexei. Oh, okay. Alexei was killed almost instantly, and Julia was seriously wounded when their car veered off the highway and crashed into an embankment. All Julia could do was watch while dazed and bleeding as Roman, Inessa, and Victoria approached the car, wrenched open the doors, and took yet more trophies in the form of a purse, a driver's license, and a passport. Evidently, they wanted something to remember what their victims looked like, but in their haste to flee the scene, fearful that other motorists would catch them in the act, they neglected to finish Julia off. She turned out to be one of the few survivors of the murderous clan. Somehow, shit, man, I don't know why these look like yeah, it's like they should be pronounced in my head like how they're spelt, or I think that's how they usually are. Podkopayev, okay, Jesus Christ. Somehow, the Podkopayev family was able to wait an entire year before they felt the inclination to strike again. On July 8, 2008, Paratrooper Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Chudakov, was that it? Chudakov, oh, okay. Chudakov. On July 8, 2009, Paratrooper Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Chudakov was sitting in a parked car on the shoulder of a stretch of highway, along with his wife, their 11-year-old daughter, and 7-year-old son. They were on their way back from a family holiday and had stopped briefly to rest before continuing their journey. Dmitry was awoken when a fearful cry from his wife had him opening his eyes to see Inessa approaching their car. She was shouldering a powerful semi-automatic shotgun and pointing the barrel directly at the car's windscreen. Dmitry was no stranger to violence and immediately reacted, trying to gun the car's engine and get his family out of there. But no one can move faster than a bullet, and as Inessa pulled the trigger over and over again, scores of shotgun pellets ripped through the glass and tore through Dmitry's body, as well as that of his wife and small son. 11-year-old Veronica was the only one left alive. She had been sat behind her father, and his body had absorbed most of the shotgun's blasts, leaving her with only scrapes and nicks from the ricochets and flying glass. But she was also completely and utterly shell-shocked from the sudden eruption of violence, and barely fought back as Roman and Victoria dragged her from the back seat, plunging a knife into her almost 40 times to extinguish her young life. Once the entire Chudakov? Okay. Okay, once the entire Chudakov family was dead at the roadside, the Podkopayevs, okay. Eventually it will land in my head here. Chudakov, yeah. So Chudakov, okay. Once the entire Chudakov family was dead at the roadside, and the Podkopayevs looted their belongings, stealing an expensive laptop, a hairdryer. Fuck. My voice got dry out of nowhere. Okay. Once the entire Chudakov family was dead at the roadside, the Podkopayevs looted their belongings, stealing an expensive laptop, a hairdryer, and a digital camera. It should be noted that they happened across almost $1,500 worth of gold jewelry in the Chudakov's luggage, but neglected to take it. They were killing purely for sport, not for any kind of financial gain. This is entirely at odds with the Russian media's description of them as bandits, as they were not robbers who just so happened. This is entirely at odds with the Russian media's description of them as bandits, as they were not robbers who just so happened to kill to make their tasks easier. They were murderous psychopaths, killing for the sake of killing. The fact that Dmitry Chudakov was a high-ranking officer in Russia's elite VDV paratroopers... That sounded weird, sorry. The fact that Dmitry Chudakov was a... Dude, I don't know why my voice is like going now. It was like good all night. Gorgle. Sorry, okay. Reading the chat sometimes, but thank you again. Yeah. The fact that... Oops, shit. I'm trying. The fact that Dmitry Chudakov was a high-ranking official... Dude, my brain is gone, sorry. The fact that the Dmitry... Why is it the Dmitry? What the hell? Yeah. The fact that Dmitry Chudakov was a high-ranking officer in Russians... Jesus Christ, I'm on like just like a... Okay. The fact that Dmitry Chudakov was a high-ranking officer in Russia's elite VDV paratroopers made this particular set of murders front-page news all over Russia, and the authorities were desperate to quickly find the perpetrator. This led to a completely innocent man named Alexei Sarenko being falsely accused and convicted of the murders, which ended up with him spending 2 years in prison. The only evidence levied against him was the hastily gathered results of the ballistic examination, and as the owner of a similar kind of semi-automatic shotgun, Alexei was erroneously branded as the Chudakov's murderer. Alexei was also accused of killing 3 other people in the same area based on the same ballistics evidence, but after further examination, he was cleared and released from prison, with the Russian government only offering him meager compensation. The following year, the Podkapayev family planned another bloody attack, and this seems to be the first that was motivated by actual financial gain. Anessa was aware that the family of her goddaughter were in possession of a number of high-tech firearms, as well as a... Fuck, dude, I got like spit in my throat. Hopefully it was spit, I don't know. There's all these materials they've been putting in drinks, lady. Anessa was aware that the family of her Anessa was aware that the family of her goddaughter were in possession of a number of high-tech firearms, as well as a considerable amount of cash, both of which could be used to carry on their campaign of rapacious terror. The Podkapayevs drove out to the home of their prospective victims under cover of darkness, lying in wait for them to come home from eating dinner at a nearby restaurant. Yet the only 2 people to return home after quite some time were the family's 2 daughters, one of which was just 12 years old. Both girls were grabbed up, held down, and tortured in order to force them to reveal the location of both the weapons and the stash. One of the girls was said to have their eyeballs gouged out before she finally broke and told them where the money could be located. After somehow finding it in herself to kill her own goddaughter, Anessa then led her family on a murderous rampage that lasted 4 long years. The killings mostly consisted of home invasions, much in the same style as the first set of killings that the family committed. But during that time frame, the Podkapayevs also developed a new style of attack, one of which they would ambush those who responded to burglar alarms that they had deliberately set off. On September 19th, 2012, in Novocherkassk... Oh, that's how it was? Okay. Sweet. Nice. Novocherkassk. Okay. Thank you. I said November. My bad. On September 19th, 2012, in Novocherkassk, the family killed 2 employees of a private security company who responded to alarms going off at a local dental clinic. The Podkapayevs then stole the security guard's firearms, which included a Kalashnikov assault rifle and 2 semi-automatic pistols, all of which were used to replenish their arsenal of weaponry. Then on April 8, 2013, the family unloaded hundreds of rounds of ammunition into the car of a grocery store employees responding to... Oops, that sounded weird. Wait. April 8th, 2013, the family unloaded hundreds of rounds of ammunition into the car of grocery store employees. Then, on April 8th, 2013, the family unloaded hundreds of rounds of ammunition into the car of grocery store employees responding to alarms that they had set off at their store. Miraculously, only one of the men died, with the driver somehow surviving the vicious attack that should have easily snuffed him out. After 5 years of intermittent killing and looting, it seemed the Podkapayevs were unstoppable in their slaughter. But on September 8th, 2013, unsatisfied with shooting a husband and wife couple who were out on a stroll in the Oskay, right? Okay, so Oskay, okay. But on September 8th, 2013, unsatisfied with shooting a husband and wife couple who were out on a stroll in Oskay countryside, Roman and his daughter Victoria decided they would rob the home of a former military officer. They didn't find any cash in the residence, and so they made the rather bizarre decision to steal candles and chicken drumsticks, apparently being completely unwilling to leave empty-handed. The father-daughter hit squad fled on a scooter. That sounded weird. No, I just... Scooter. A scooter. What's this guy? Is this guy Ivan Shakovoy? Shakovoy? Okay. The father-daughter hit squad. Sorry, I keep wanting... I just like not saying it right. It's like a compound word. I know. The father-daughter hit squad fled on a scooter that they had previously stolen that day, but were soon pulled over by police officer Ivan Shakovoy. Motherfucker, how do you... Shakovoy, okay. Shakovoy. Okay. Just Shakovoy? Shakovoy, okay. Okay. The father-daughter hit squad fled on a scooter that they had previously stolen that day, but were soon pulled over by police officer Ivan Shakovoy. Ivan was investigating the shootings that the Podkapayevs had committed earlier on and demanded to see some identification from the pair. Instead of showing any documentation, Roman pulled out a pistol and executed Officer Shakovoy. Okay. Instead of showing any documentation, Roman pulled out a pistol and executed Officer Shakovoy at the roadside. What followed was a run-and gun battle that ended up with Roman being shot dead and Victoria arrested, while Anessa was later taken in custody whilst guarding a huge cache of stolen weaponry, which included silencers, grenades, and dozens of ammunition cases. Police also found dozens of items belonging to slain victims among the weapons cache, proving that the Podkapayevs were responsible for their murders. During the interrogation that followed, Anessa told an investigating homicide detective that she hated police and lamented that her family was not able to kill more of them during their murder spree. A shocking revelation also brought to light the fact that the Podkapayevs were being assisted by Anessa's sister and brother-in-law, who happened to be a former policeman. Since he was connected with law enforcement, the brother-in-law was able to pass on inside information regarding police operations and movements, which enabled them to escape justice for such a long time. But what would drive a former nursery school teacher, one that was apparently capable of such nurturing instincts, to describe herself as a gangster by nature? What could possess her to view herself as something of a hero for having targeted military men and police officers? She was certainly worshipped as one by a handful of anonymous sadists. As not far from the site of the Chudakov murders, police officers found 3 homemade knives on which were written the phrases, "To my beloved bandit girl," and to my beloved Amazon, a reference to the warrior woman of legend. It's clear that some are driven to violence and thievery out of a desire to simply survive, but that's absolutely horrifying about the case of the Podkapayev family. Wait, shit. Sorry. It's like a Canadian sorry, you know, it's just like, just kind of comes out. Sorry, oh, sorry. That'd be funny, like every time they farted, they said sorry, but like to themselves. It's clear that some are driven to violence and thievery out of a desire to simply survive, but what's absolutely horrifying about the case of the Podkapayev family is that they chose to kill because of some hideous, evil desire to dominate and destroy, because hunting, ambushing, and killing human beings was what thrilled them more than anything else. They didn't need the money. What they needed was the blood. Shit, we did it. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get you translator fees sent directly your way here. I appreciate it. That was it. Yeah, it was just I was actually gonna skip it and try to figure it out tomorrow, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll see if Natalia is up and at 'em. Oh yeah, no, yeah. It was divine intervention, truly. It was yeah. Yeah, God's like, I'm sick and tired of him botching these Russian names. He needs some assistance here. But thank you again. I really appreciate it. And I will chit-chat with you later. All right, bye. Bye. Natalia says bye. Everybody say thank you, Natalia. All right, see ya. We did it. Thanks to Natalia coming in clutch there. Holy cow. And it's 3 a.m. I feel bad. I guess she went to bed at 9 and we're waking her up in the freaking middle of the night here, but I really wouldn't have been able to do it without the translator. Have you ever watched Idiocracy? Only bits and pieces, but my goodness. What a team effort. Truly, YouTube is one big moving collaboration. Alright, guys. Well, we've done it. Now all I need to do is read the outro here, which, as you know, involves yourself thinking of something funny to say to end it. So please do brainstorm. JB, you could hear. That's, well, you know, like probably through the headphones. Okay. In Soviet Russia, what does it say? In Soviet Russia, Reddit reads you. That's hilarious. Boots are comfy. Okay, let me read this outro. You guys think of something. It's pronounced Squawkov. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/letsreadofficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join a live stream to catch an invite to my Discord. And if you want to catch me, you never will. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, wait, I didn't say anything funny. Hey, listen. Everyone is a moon and has a dark side which he never shows to anybody. My dark side is Overwatch. Can we dive your dog water? Your dog water? And remember, your dog water. YouTube is one big rolling collaboration. When we're here, we're family. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Stinky bean, you are a stinky bean. Didn't I say that last time? Or like, I forget what maybe I'm full of heck. I'm full of heck and heck. Red rum. Pradeep is taking over. Where is he? Is he in the room? No, I let him out. I just remembered. The love of a pimp is not one of a square. What? Alright, I'll put the lotion on my skin. Say it, don't spray it. I'll probably say that. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, alright, I'll put the lotion on my skin. Say it, don't spray it. Hey, Bad Vibes, what's up, dude? Always secure your nuts before zipping. True, you don't want to get them all rippled. Become one with the zipper. What's Russian for hasta la vista, baby? But yeah, guys, thank you again. That was a long, well, you know, it was normal, but I started late, about 3.5 hours here. I appreciate you guys so much. Another round of applause to everybody. Everybody gets a nice round of applause, but I really appreciate you guys' patience and help and amazing attitude during this. It's always a good time. But you can look forward to it. It'll be out first, as always, on Patreon. It's only $1 a month on Patreon, or $10.08 a year. I don't know what that deal is all about, but hey, why not? Get early access all the time. Every time I upload, which is normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday. New streams of the days before uploads, which are Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I streamed 3 days this week, which is pretty baller. This man's working overtime, baby. But no. Yeah, early access, always a good time. Join the Discord if not. Follow me on social media. Everything's linked down below if you would like to continue to stalk me. LaMelo Ball for MVP. Isn't there another guy with the last name Ball? Or is that like his younger brother? I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys. Say, there's Natalia. Coming in clutch. Another round of applause for Natalia. Thank you so much. Holy cow. Big poggers. But yeah, guys, thank you again. We're gonna have this up tomorrow, or today rather, 7 p.m. and it's gonna be a good one, as I guess you guys kind of got to hear them all. But stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for on Monday when you get to hear. You're gonna be the first ones to taste the new and improved podcast. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be the shit. It's gonna be the armpit. So, thank you again, guys. Love you. Take care. Get some rest. And I'll see you again soon. Adios.